Hey, how's it going out there? Thank you so much for joining us tonight on Patriots Inside the Wire. We are so glad to have you here with us. We are ready to go. So, what we'd like to do is get this show started, and now you can see me because we have our guests that are here. You're with Patriots Inside the Wire tonight. It's not Wednesday, it's Thursday. We are live. We have tonight for you a very special edition. I want you to please go grab your friends, ones, share this. This is a show that I really want everybody out there to understand. When I say gold star, what does that mean? It's not a sticker. I really want you to understand, what is a gold star family? What is a gold star mother? What is a father, brother, sister, and uncle, that immediate family? We're talking tonight about your freedom, the ultimate sacrifice. I'm a mom there with it too. Stick with this show. Follow us. We have the fathers coming in, a wonderful veteran that will be singing for you. Hang in there, share this, and let's roll. Thank you so much.
Giving a voice to the voiceless. We share the stories behind our freedoms and the ultimate sacrifice of those who protect us all. This is Patriots Inside the Wire.
Beautiful thing to see the family and friends come together and honor his life and his service to our country.
Great to see you guys out here. This is awesome, really.
Welcome to the Patriots Inside the Wire broadcast, hosted by Gold Star Mom, Tracy Two-Step.
Thank you for joining us. What I'd like to do tonight is go ahead and bring up our veteran who is on special for you tonight to sing. But I'm going to also go ahead and bring up our guest. Tonight we have with us Mr. Terry Burgess. Terry Burgess, welcome to the show. Gold Star Father and Gold Star Parents Retreat. Thank you for joining us tonight, Terry.
Thank you, Tracy.
Definitely. We have Mr. Jim McCullum, another father, Gold Star Father. Welcome to Patriots Inside the Wire there, Jim. Meet
Appreciate
Terry.
you having me. Nice to meet you.
Sure. I'm going to bring on a wonderful female veteran who does a lot of work in our community here in Texas. Welcome to the show. And we just call you May. Is that what you would like? Your first name, May?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
All right. We have May tonight. She is going to do the honors of singing for us, specifically for the Gold Star fathers and mothers. He's back there and he's up here too. I got one too. May, thank you for joining us and your patience. Let's go ahead and roll. Let me hear your lovely voice.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
that I'm sure all of us enjoyed that. Terry, Jim, welcome back. May, beautiful voice.
Thank you, May.
Meet you in person. Thank you so much for joining us. And I hope to have you on soon to talk with you more about everything you're doing for the females, the empowerment of the veterans in the females calendar. I'm just so thankful for you. So thank you for the last minute notice of coming on for these fathers tonight. Thank you so much.
It was an honor for me. It's nice to meet you all, and thank you for your sacrifice for our country. Thank you for your service, all of you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your support,
service,
May.
May.
Thank you.
Thank you. We will have you back. Thank you so much, hon.
Yes, ma'am.
Tonight on Patriots Inside the Wire, what we would like to do is, I am very organic. So Terry is used to this. You have Mr. Terry Burgess up top. He is with Gold Star Parents Retreat. Mr. Jim McCullum, meet Terry Burgess. For those that are out there that usually pay attention, they know Terry pretty well in the military world as far as being a father. You hear a lot about mothers. Although I'll be very honest with you, Gold Star, I mean, I can't blame people. What is a Gold Star? It's not a sticker, right? There runs Gold Star Parents Retreat. And honestly, he's the first person that got me to go in. That is the truth. And it took me a while. But I'm glad that I did.
Yes.
It was just, I could just take a deep breath, and I was with family. That's how I explain it. And it is just casual, but it is comforting. So for Gold Star Parents Retreat, that is always right here in my heart. And of course, the other one I have to say, which is Memories of Honor, working with them. But Gold Star Parents Retreat, I want you all to pay attention to that. Check out goldstarparentsretreat.org. Again, goldstarparentsretreat.org. This is where you can help families like those on the screen tonight go to a retreat, multiple days in a cabin, and the time that we really need to be around others where you don't even have to say a word, or you can say a lot. You can laugh, you can sing karaoke, literally. That's Sergeant Carter. He popped in on me last night on the show. Jim, welcome to Patriots Inside the Wire. How are you doing? I just threw you right in here.
I appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
It is great to see you. I like the hat. I mean, I immediately went, uh-oh.
Yeah, y'all are making me. I'm gonna have to put mine on. There you go.
I love it.
There.
Hey, there you go, Terry.
My head's too shiny otherwise.
Got you. Well, Jim, I knew that Terry would be the perfect one. We had already planned, it wasn't even on purpose. So moms, and actually I'm gonna be really honest with everyone out there because I don't know another way. Everyone knows me that way. It's really hard when a date comes up. So, there's some moms that thought they just couldn't. They were like, this just is hard. And I said, you know what? I get it. We will work this out and we will make sure, because everybody, they want to know. And they say, make sure, Tracy, we're supporting you. Make sure they know what this means because we're really tired of explaining. I said, don't you worry. You know me well. And Terry will tell you. You want to find someone to tell the truth and put some gusto in it. But I'm an honest individual. I think Terry will admit that, right? I'm what am I, Terry? That's a great one. I don't think I've ever done a show about me. Let's not do me. But I think as far as for Jim to know.
No, but you're honest and you're open.
Yeah, I am. I don't know another way because of even growing up. Well, one day we'll do my show. How's that? But right now, Terry, Jim has been following Patriots Inside the Wire. Jim is Riley's father, Lance Corporal Riley McCullum, part of the Afghanistan 13. Mr. Terry Burgess, his son, Staff Sergeant Brian Burgess. You can find some of his story in the Hornets Nest movie. Brian's story, and I have all of these pictures that I will be showing. I want everyone to recognize that we will be having, this is on a video broadcast. It is also an audio podcast. So don't look at me funny if I'm pronouncing things, spelling things. It is because we are able to commercially drop into multiple podcasts and a broadcast. So that's why I say catch us, join us, watch. And if not, catch the podcast. You can catch that in 24 hours on anywhere you want to listen to a podcast. So at Patriots Inside the Wire. I happen to be watching Jim, and I tell the truth, right? We know this. I got a text message. Here I go. Tracy, the truth teller. I don't care. I'm a truth teller. I got a text message, and it was from a campaign group. Now listen, because of my show and because of my work and legislation that I do, and because of my son, I have the freedom, my rights to talk, my freedom to speech, you name it. My son is gone. He is gone while he was serving our country active duty. If you don't like it, then don't listen. But number 2, be patient, be kind, be respectful, and honor. And so it's out of kindness when I'm about to tell you how that happened. Bipartisan, I do have legislation I'm working on. I want you all to get together and get along. But there's a lot of stubborn people. But that's okay. What I'd like to say is I did get a text message, and it was from a campaign individual. And it's also from someone who's already in office. And they said, I want you to know something. Here it is. Check it out. Here's what's going on. And I said, okay. And I was up doing a show, and I started looking at some things, and I noticed I had just done the Afghanistan 13 tribute show. So ironically, Jim had crossed my path after being at an event and helping another lady who is the Tree of Valor. Now, this is all coincidental to Terry sitting up there, because the Tree of Valor is who I said, Terry, we got to get her there. So I told her, I said, email Mr. Terry Burgess and let's get you there, the Tree of Valor. Miss Lori, thank you, Lori, puts up trees and honors our fallen, our veterans, our first responders. Just like here at the show, we honor patriots. Jim, I got a text, and then I got a message, and they said, you got to go see what these fathers are saying, Tracy. And I said, okay. And I went, and I said, okay, I get it. I got another message and another message, and I said, I got this. I got this. I see what you're talking about. I'm not comfortable reaching out to someone until there's been sort of a break with that person where they're comfortable enough, right? So, Jim, if you all have not checked this out, I really, really want to implore you to do this. Go to YouTube. Check out the Afghanistan 13 families. There is a video, not only of the first father, but all of the families and what happened recently there in Arlington. I, for one, stand by everything that was said. I stand by everything that was done. And I know for a fact that Mr. McCollum is going to tell us the exact truth of what I know. So I say thank you to Mr. McCollum. And I hate to say this part. I really hate to say sorry, because I'm more about action, because it just sucks. I'm glad you're here, but it really sucks that you're here because of this. I'm sorry. I'm honest. And Terry, you know that too. I mean, I respect and appreciate and just love you so much, and your son and his service, and Jim, yours, Riley, and looking at his daughter, the baby pictures as I'm loading this up. I mean, my heart is just busting. So what I'd like to do is I'm going to leave it up to the two of you, because we have Gold Star Family. That is this Sunday. It is the last Sunday in September every year. So that happens to be coming up September 29th. And Jim, you're not the first person. Jim McCollum right here, Riley McCollum's father. And soon we'll have pictures and more for you. He said, I didn't even know it was the Gold Star Families Day. There was a Gold Star Families Day. I said, yes, sir. And you wouldn't believe how many times that happened. So, Terry, I think I'd like to go to you instead of letting me ramble on. And let's hear from you. I know and that you could give a little bit more on this as a father and also as someone who's unfortunately been there with it. So thank you, Terry. Let's hear from you.
Jim, it almost makes me speechless. And Tracy will tell you that's pretty rare for me. But one of the things we say at the retreats is, every family, every soldier, every story is different. But it doesn't lessen the pain. It increases the honor. It makes us more aware of our country, unfortunately, where the country seems to be headed. But there are families, there are people, there are individuals, there are groups that have nothing but respect and the utmost wish to honor our sons and our daughters. And those are the people that keep us going. That's where I get my strength. People, I'm sure they've told you, "Oh, Jim, you must be so strong. You do this so well." And you're like, "Okay, but you haven't seen the holes punched in the walls. You haven't seen the crying fits out on the back porch." We get our strength from others like you and from Tracy and from true patriots. And it's a part of a long story. The morning that Brian was killed, there were some really odd things going on that I couldn't put together for a long time. When I finally did, it made me realize that I wasn't doing anything at the time to honor my son. I wasn't doing anything to honor his sacrifice. And when I realized that, and I got off my ass and started doing some stuff, meeting people, going to organizations, networking, then I understood there is a way for me to honor my son. There's a way for me to get his name out there. And that's what you've done, Jim. You've helped. I remember the day that it happened. We went to Keller and we did a candlelight vigil for the 13, and I was asked to speak. Me and another Gold Star mom were there at the ceremony, and I knew what I was going to say. I had written it out beforehand, and Randy Stillinger asked me to go up there and talk. Jim, I broke down. I just cried. I saw the 13 photographs. I saw hundreds of people with the candles that had come out to pay their respect. They didn't know your son. They didn't know him, but they knew what he stood for. And to us, that's beyond precious. And that's what we do. Yeah, there's Riley right there. That's what we hold in our hearts, Jim. And that's what we do. Not just day to day, sometimes minute to minute. So thank you, Tracy.
Very well said.
Thank you, Terry. Terry, you're not giving yourself a lot of credit there. Terry, your son, Brian Burgess, he was one of those, you can tell this part better than me. Brian was in his unit in the infantry. Would you like to tell that part a little bit about that?
Yeah, for those that don't know, Brian was United States Army. He was with the 101st Airborne. He was in the 327th NOSLAC, which has a long history of famous battles. Battle of the Bulge was one of them. This was unfortunately, their last and final mission. They were 13 days from coming home. General Petraeus said, "We have a mission, and I need my best mountain fighting team to go in and get this guy." They were going after QZR. I can't ever say his name right. Khwari Zir Rahman. He was the number 2 leader of the Taliban. He ran the training, munitions, and everything. Their mission was to go into Kunar province, which is Taliban headquarters. Russians didn't even go in there. The Russians avoided that area. But the 101st Airborne goes in, and from the minute they set foot in that valley, it was a 360-degree firefight. No slack was ambushed. Taliban actually had snipers up in trees as our guys were trying to work their way down the mountain. Brian was squad leader. He was 29. He was the old man of the unit. So he was out front. Brian was big. He was 6'2", 210, all of his armor. He had the M4. So the Taliban targeted him. He was hit multiple times. And then while Dustin Feldhaus was trying to drag Brian to safety, Dustin was hit multiple times and killed. Brian's best friend, Nate, came over, was trying to get them both out of the way. Nate's a big guy. He took a bullet. Just as he turned sideways, the bullet went into Nate's side, up under his body armor, and lodged between his liver and his spine. Nate's still carrying that bullet. To this day, they can't get it out because of the scar tissue. But Brian, Dustin, 4 others were killed the very first morning of that mission. It was supposed to be a 3-day mission tops. Turned into 9 days of firefight. And I guess, it's hard to find something good to come out of a horrible tragedy. But an ABC News reporter was embedded with Brian and with their unit, with the 101st Airborne. And he got this entire battle on film.
Wow.
His name was Mike Betcher, ABC News reporter. He was actually there just to do a 30-minute spot for Nightline. And he turned out being there for 9 days, getting all this battle on footage. He took it back to ABC News, and they said, we can't use this. And Mike said, F you. And he went and found some producers, and they produced a unique, one of the first full immersive documentaries to come out of Afghanistan, called the Hornets Nest movie. And it's all Mike's camera and it's helmet cam. So there's no actors, there's no sound effects. You hear what the guys heard, you see what they saw. And that was one of the things when we went to see the finished product. And I thought, that's how I live up to my son's sacrifice, by sharing his story, by telling his story, by telling people what they did and why the 101st was there in that valley. And, they did. They accomplished their mission. And it's just, people come up to me and they say, well, Terry, I heard about the Hornets Nest. I'm going to go watch it. And I said, it's not required viewing. It's really hard to watch. That last part, the movie producers did it very well. It's very well put together. It's very dramatic as well as respectful. But it's hard to tell somebody, yeah, you need to go watch this, because it's hard viewing. But we've shown it to colleges, military bases, veterans all over. And it's so very humbling to have a World War II vet or a Vietnam vet or a Korean vet come up to me afterwards and say, thank you for your son's sacrifice. I understand how much that hurt, and I know what your son meant. I know what your son wanted to do, and he did it. And that means the world to me. That's, I can't. My wife, Beth, she works in IT, and she does a lot of her work is fixing problems. And when this happened, she was just broken. She was just crushed. she couldn't do anything to fix it. And she told people, she said, I didn't just lose Brian that day. I lost my husband because I just descended into darkness. I just sank. I didn't have anything left to hold on to. I couldn't focus on anything. So Beth said, I lost Terry that day too. And it took us a while to get back. Or you can't ever get back to where you were. But I can't do anything without Beth. And a lot of people, when they see us together, they'll see us at, they saw us at Snowball Express. They see us at Skyball. They see us at events around the Dallas-Fort Worth. They see us together. And if she's not standing right by my side, the first thing people say, well, where's Beth? Where's she? Where is she over there? So if you see one of us, you see the other one. And that's how we get through every day. That's how we get out of bed every morning. And she's just been my angel. She's been my nursemaid. She's been everything to me. And wouldn't have started Gold Star Parents Retreat without her. She's Brian's stepmom, but a lot of people, she was Brian's mom. To Brian, he was her mom. She was always there when he needed her. She sent him care packages, beef jerky and razors and everything. And he loved her and she loved him. And he was just a horrible, horrible loss for us, a terrible loss. And then we got to meet the other guys from the 101st Airborne and that unit, No Slack. Man, those guys, they just adopted us into their family. They treated us like one of their own. We've been to the No Slack reunions there. Shannon Corbin and his wife have a No Slack reunion on their ranch once a year. And we get hugs. We get loved on. Guys telling us all kinds of stories about Brian. Some we probably shouldn't have heard. But that became our family. And Tracy, you've heard me say before that, after Brian was killed, our address book literally changed.
Right.
It completely changed. People that we thought would be as close as family, we don't communicate with them anymore. We make them too sad. We bring them down. Oh my God, you're obsessed with Brian's death and the Hornets Nest movie and your retreat. And now we're surrounded by organizations, by individuals, by people who welcome us. They've welcomed us into their homes. They don't plan an event without making sure that Beth and I can come. And we're the same way. So yeah, our address book changed and it grows. And Jim, I'm so pleased if we're not in person face to face, but I can at least see you and talk to you. And it's a true honor to see you and talk to you. And thank y'all for listening to me.
Likewise, sir. I appreciate you very much. I am one of those who has not watched the Hornet's Nest yet. I was told by a couple Marines and some people that were there during that time period. It's like, don't watch it. There will come a time when I can, but they said you're
exactly
don't watch it. So
nope, exactly.
I've been tempted, but those are on the good days. The bad days, it's like, no, I can't go there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't either, Terry. I just I happen to know. But Terry, you mentioned a couple of other retreats and things, lands that I don't know about. I'm going to get with you on the back channel there. I'm ready now. It's like I'm finally ready. And this is why. And Terry, I'm not going to put you on the spot here for Mr. McCullum for the retreat. But if we have someone backing out, let's put them on the list. The Gold Star Parents Retreat is amazing. And it has a waiting list, everyone. So Terry knows what I'm doing. I'm going to tell you, I'm not a part of this board, but I'm going to tell you that Gold Star Parents Retreat, if it can reach out and grab me and get me to go to something and feel comfortable and feel, listen, they were there, 3 days, right, Terry? I came for 12 hours the first retreat.
Yeah.
And I jetted out and I was in session. Last year, I did go the full amount of time for my first time. And I was like, wow, between, you know, getting to know Carter Moore and a lot of others there, being from Tennessee, and I'm in Texas. So Terry and I are both around the Texas area. Um, I was just, I don't know how to explain this to you, Jim, because when you said that to me, I knew exactly what you were talking about. You're like, what do you mean Gold Star Families Day? I'm like, yeah, it's there. It used to be called Gold Star Mother's Day, and it was changed. I don't want to get into administrations. That's not this show. I think it's not a secret with everyone, though, when it comes to me. But I loved it. I mean, it was like I was at a reunion of family that used to be there that's no longer here. It was a friendship of people I didn't know. Terry, I mean, I walked in the room, right? And it was like, Tracy. Now look, I am not popular by any means. Trust me. If I can stay down, out of the background, I have done that for a very long time, even in my area, except for legislation and going to fight for some things to fight for. That's been my focus. So Terry got me to go, and Beth. So I do want to say that Mrs. Beth Burgess is a big part of this. Sergeant Carter got me last night on the show with the mothers. So Sergeant, I'm getting you this year at the retreat. But broke out karaoke, and I saw cigars. I saw people got massages. They went to the falls on trips. I'm going, wait a minute, where's all the convention? Like you're sitting at a table and it's like someone's just sitting there talking to you. And I'm like, but it's a great speaker, and it's nothing like what I had imagined of walking into a room that I didn't want to walk into. So it was home. That's the best way I can describe it. And so, Jim, for you, I think a first thing for me, that is what I needed. And I think by the people that have already reached out to me, I'm not going to speak for you, but I'm going to say, I do believe that this was not a coincidence, that the timing of everything coming together and reaching out to Terry and all of us right now, to me, it is not a coincidence. So I'm glad to have you here. Terry, let's put them on the waiting list. We are so blessed with Gold Star Parents Retreat. I want all of our listeners out to listen, and please go to goldstarparentsretreat.org. There are so many families for free that fly into this event for free. They stay in cabins for free. They eat for free. They get there if they want a Coca-Cola, a water. They do have this smoked drink, and I don't even know what it's called, but it's the gentleman that makes these smoked whiskey drinks, Terry.
Yeah, they're old fashions. They're smoked old fashions.
You can tell
and they
I'm
are
not.
delicious.
They are actually.
Yeah,
and then I saw cigars, and I went, "Uh-oh."
And Mike had to cut several people off because they're so good, and he just kept going back.
Oh,
No, you're cut off. You've had plenty.
Yeah. Not me. I had people. Sergeant Carter turns on the karaoke machine there at the last night. Look, big cooked out Texas style brisket, you name it, barbecues being cooked. Veterans are there volunteering. People are volunteering for free. But the whole event to fly for the cabins, for the food, for multiple days, for
everything's provided.
2 people, family members. The cost of that is unbelievable. So I'm that person that says, please go to goldstarparentsretreat.org. I'm begging you, go to goldstarparentsretreat.org. Again, goldstarparentsretreat.org. If it's $1, $5, whatever it is. I always hear, well, how can we support? How can we help the families? There you go. You've got a room full that come from all over. So Terry, I'm always willing to be the bad mom that's telling them, listen, we can't do all this for free constantly. Although I am doing that on the broadcast, and I'll continue to do it. Are we looking for sponsors? Of course we are at Patriots Inside the Wire. Are we looking for people to understand and honor and respect? Of course we are. But listen, unfortunately, we can't do everything without. I don't have a money tree. Terry, you don't have a money tree. Jim, if you
No,
have a money tree, let us know. But nobody in this world has that. So what they
and
do
we
have
are
is
proud to say
freedom.
that, like you said, even a dollar helps. We don't
Yes.
take a salary. You can see my office as at home. We don't have any office space. It's a all volunteer organization. So every single dollar goes into the program, and we're proud to say that.
That's fantastic.
It is great. I'll show a couple pictures here in a minute. Jim, I'd like to get into a little bit with you too. You just got to hear Terry. Do you have questions for me first, or would you like to just come on in? I am very organic like that.
I do have to say one thing. I can't remember if I heard it last night from you or something else I was watching of you, but you talked about the green dot. I have written about the green dot.
Yes.
Riley would be talking to his wife. I knew he didn't have access to contacting me and his sisters. As long as I saw that green dot, life was good.
Oh my God, Jim.
That hit
I
me.
have a poem. I have a song about the darn green dot. You're the first person who's ever gone, Tracy. I heard you don't know what that means. Like, I know what that means, Jim. That means when I looked at night and I'm up late at night, my son's in Iraq. Oh my God, it's there.
He's
Good.
okay. Yep.
The other good news is most people are sleeping. Tracy's not. So I got so much of my son's time. It was beautiful. And the same thing as Terry. He told me everything. So, like you said, some things you maybe don't, but hey, I'm fortunate for that. You got me there in the heart with that one, Jim. The green dot. We will have to. I'm going to do a song about that. We'll have to get together on that one.
Absolutely.
But thank you for that, Jim. That I will never forget you. Not like I would forget you before, but Jim, you have a flag behind you, and I know that one of those is a wooden flag that came from Texas.
Yes,
and
indeed.
it is actually someone related to me that actually did that event, and it's sitting right behind you right now. Not a coincidence again. So you're family now to Patriots Inside the Wire. But what I'd like to do a little bit of, Jim, and this is totally up to you, how much you'd like to tell us on who you are. Again, Gold Star Families Day for everyone listening right now to Patriots Inside the Wire. It is the last Sunday, which is September 29th this year. And it is our active duty service members who are serving. And then they don't make that choice to take off their uniform. They didn't make that choice. And they didn't get to come home. They actually, while they're serving, and I'm not going to get into particulars of you can, but I'm going to say I honor all. If you're serving and you're no longer here and you've given us those freedom and rights that we have, don't you dare question a family member like that. I cannot do that part. So I have no tolerance for that at all. Jim, the reason that a couple of people sent me your video, and one, like I said, it is a person in politics. And I want to make this point. I'm not a politician, but look, there are some good ones out there. And I know that everybody's going to be like, Tracy, what are you doing? I'm telling you that they're people too. Walk in that office. Trust me, listen, they grew up like us. They put on their pants like us. Use your rights, speak up, walk in. That's all I do. I mean, that's just part of, I grew up fighting and I will always be that way. So I just believe in truth telling. But Jim, that last Sunday, Gold Star Families Day, where are you located at, Jim?
I'm in Rock Springs, Wyoming now. I was born and raised in Jackson, Wyoming. And I moved, I bought a house in Rock Springs last February. My daughter actually moved down here in September. I was a single father since about 2007. It was Royce, Riley, and his other sister, Cheyenne, and myself. We're kind of a unique story in a lot of ways. It was always us. Everything we did together, whether it was Royce's volleyball, Riley wrestling, Cheyenne also volleyball. Whatever we did, we were always together. Kind of like with his wife Beth. You know, you don't see one without the other, and if they're not there, everybody's wondering where they're at. It was a good life. I've been a log home builder and timber craftsman my entire life, and we did all right. Jackson's extremely expensive to live. That's one of the reasons I moved, but it was good. If I had any regrets with the way we grew up prior to Riley becoming a military Marine and enlisting in the military, is that I'm not a very nurturing guy. I was raised differently. We never hug. My daughter makes fun of me. She thinks she's gotten like 5 hugs her entire life from me. But I mean, they knew they were loved, but it was just different. And I really wish my kids would have had that more compassionate side than I was able to offer them. But it also made my kids tougher than hell. So it all worked out well. And we're still family. We're very tight. And Riley was a little shining star. He was my youngest. I make jokes all the time. Riley was my prettiest daughter, because growing up with older sisters, they would put him in dresses and put him in makeup. And man, that kid was pretty. We have some pictures floating out there somewhere, but I try not to show those. But yeah, good looking kid.
Yeah, the jaw.
Yeah. No, and he would practice that. There was a time, 15, 16, 17, he could not pass a reflection without poking the jaw out. And
reminds me of this one.
Good. So, nah, he's a good kid.
Jim, so your daughter is now there with you too. So everyone out there, Riley, serving as a Lance Corporal in the Marines, is part of what most people are going to recognize as Afghanistan 13. What I want to say is that we will have a show fully. Is Riley? Hi, Riley. We will. She's very beautiful. Do you know who this is, Jim?
I do.
Okay.
Met her in Rock Springs a few months ago.
Well, hello to you, Mrs. Thank you so much. She took my attention away here for a minute. What I was going to say is pay attention here, because what we're going to do is we will have a whole show actually with Jim McCullum and all about Riley. And it is going to include why and who contacted me and a message that I have for Jim. But with Gold Star Parents Family, so Gold Star Family, I keep looking at Terry, it's always about parents. Gold Star Families Day this Sunday. If it were not for a couple of these moms that I know are working themselves to unbelievably get this lunch going, honestly, I would back out. I want to put on my sweatpants and I want to sit and just kind of veg out, right? But I have had some recent things happen, and Terry, you're aware, that have become more intense. And there are good people out there, and when they stand up for you and they speak the truth and they're willing to go stand up and speak up, and they're doing this, I can't say no. So I am going because of the people. I'm not going because I want to be seen. I am not going because I think my son deserves something more than another. I am his mother, though, so I can say that as his mother. So I'll go to this lunch Sunday. Terry, let me say. Did he hear me?
No.
Or where will you be at, Jim?
That's a good question. I haven't given it a lot of thought. Most of my Gold Star family are part of the Abbey Gate Coalition, some of the families of the 13, which is another unique position that we are in. We don't have anything planned. I'm like you. I'll probably play with my dogs, maybe go for a hike, but that'll be a day for me to just check out, recharge, contemplate. I'll probably sit down and write a little bit, but it's hard to, like you said, people don't like dates, and there are several dates that I just try to avoid and wish they would just go away. And now that I know that there is even a Gold Star Parents Weekend or Gold Star Family Weekend, I'd rather reflect than be around people, if that makes any sense. Sometimes being around people is what I need, but there are other times I don't have the energy to do it. So
Yeah.
I agree. Terry, where will you be at this Sunday?
We'll be doing a 13-mile hike, a ruck with other Gold Star families, and
nice.
yeah, it. You're absolutely right, Jim. There are days when Beth and I will just go out to Trinity Trails and we'll just hike through the trails along the river, just to be by ourselves and reflect. That's kind of turned into our church.
Absolutely.
But yeah, this weekend we'll be with other Gold Star families, and fortunately the weather is going to be nice and cool this year, so it shouldn't be too much of a strain to walk. Beth and I do a lot of hikes. We do a lot of rucks and walks and marches, and so this one will be very special, and we'll be exhausted, but we'll be in good company.
You will. So Terry, I mean, I always say this. I'm always jealous because Terry is in an area that is so active as far as the community. I might have to either where two locations I've found that are so active in the way that would make me comfortable. And your area, Terry in the area, it's going to be near you, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I thought so. The area that Terry is in, so Jim, I'm with you there. Like a location I'm at, let's say Austin, Texas. I'm going to bring back a program where we bring in the families of all across Texas during session. Texas is big, y'all. They only do session every other year. So during session, before I became a Gold Star mom, I was what someone would call a Blue Star mom. I had actually joined and there wasn't one, and now there is, and it's a great group. They have a great group of females that are running it right now. But Terry, you know this part. When Beth, which is Terry's wife, Beth Burgess, was looking for something for Mr. Burgess there, immediately Beth was told, no, Terry cannot come to the meetings. And if you've gotten to know me a little bit by now, you know that I'm one of those that's like, this is not going to work for me because I'm not PC. I'm not about fitting into a group. It never was like that in high school either. So I am about taking care of each other and doing the right thing. And it just wouldn't work for me. I do love it when I see the groups out there that are working together and doing so much, but it's about the people. So I've even figured out there's a couple of them out there, I won't mention them tonight, that are actually great people running these organizations, but you get one in there or a bylaw in there, and then it keeps out something as in Terry can't attend something and he can't go to a meeting. Well, that's an issue. And Miss Beth Burgess said, okay, fine. We're going to create our own. And that's what Terry and Beth did. And so before my son, two-step, Sergeant two-step, infantry as well, Daredevil, you name it. I mean, I haven't even done his story. The jaw, when you said that, I went, oh my goodness, same thing. And lately I'm doing all these stories and I'm looking at all of our sons and daughters. Let's talk about sons right now. I can look at, and I'm going to pull them up for you all, but I can actually look at Riley, and I can actually go and look at Sergeant Two Step, which is Adam, my son. And then I can go right here to Brian. Look at this, the number 2. You see that? And that jaw? Looky there. Looky there. 2 again, and them in their jaws. I'm like, did y'all notice that all 3 are doing the same thing? So today, while I'm loading everything, I'm going, my gosh, there are 3 pictures in there where it's like, wait, is that my son? Especially when they get all the gear on them too. So I was like, well, I'm not going to put that one, but I'm like, wow, when they're all, I'm like, which one is that yours? Is that mine?
They're brothers. Yeah.
Absolutely.
They are brothers, and we're family. So, and what I say is, it's the ultimate sacrifice, and it, and it sucks. And I tell people, and there's another mother that she'll be on soon too. I finally talked her into it, Terry. Miss Sheila for Etienne, her son, will be coming on soon. And we say this: don't say I'm sorry. Put I'm sorry into action. Take action, or do a kindness project, something that we can do. Because the freedom's already gone, because the child that was here, that is the ultimate thing. The other thing that I point out is siblings, and Terry knows that this is a very, very big subject for me. Siblings. I do not feel that we have a lot of focus on the siblings, and I really would love to have more focus there. So I think I've preached now. I've been preaching louder, let's put it like that, for the last year, that we have got to get a sibling scholarship program going in a larger area. I have my son Cash. I heard you mention about Riley, and I know about Terry. I know about Brian. You said 6'2", 210. Well, Cash, who's only 15, is already 6'2", and about 240.
Goodness.
Yeah. Yes. And so, and I already have 2 other daughters who've been through school. And I thought, I don't think that, okay, if you don't know who we are as far as parents of those, you see a service member, a soldier, Marine, you got to be careful here. If it's a Marine, it's a Marine. You can say soldier for the Army. Trust me, they try to school me, but you just can't do it. It's okay if it's my son. I won't speak for you. But I got to look at this. Look at this.
Wow.
That's why.
Yeah.
Siblings. I mean, he was the one, you touched on something, Jim. My son and I grew up together. My son helped take care of his siblings, literally. And I mean, it hits. I'm like, and now the house is too quiet. It's so quiet. And so I really want to see the sibling scholarship come through. And so we hope that you're all listening out there and understanding there's a whole family. So when we lose our service member, it takes a piece of it's gone, and it will never be the same. But I still am here and present because I have, and I'm grateful to have, my children. And so I thank God for that. Whatever it is for you, everybody knows me. I have to do me. And that means he's here. I don't go to an area. As a matter of fact, let me thank Sergeant Carter and Mrs. White out there, because Miss Kim, they go visit where my son is in Arlington. So, I thank them, because it's still not anything, Jim, that I can bring myself to do. I'd have to go with Terry and Sergeant Carter and some others out there. And that's how I got to you, Jim. I was working on Afghanistan 13's tribute show, and I don't know if you've seen that. And I'm up editing, and I get this message, and then another one, and I said, oh my goodness, let me go look. And I said, oh boy, I know who, I know what, and I know where to get my information. I get some information. I said, okay, everybody listen up real quick. Go watch these YouTube videos. It's in the millions right now, literally. And Jim is going to be doing a show with Patriots Inside the Wire. Stay tuned. That's but everything that they did is correct. Every protocol, every person that they needed to do, and what they wanted to have is what they wanted. And don't ever try to tell a family what they can and cannot have or can and cannot do. I mean, that you don't mess with the family. I'm sorry, you just don't do it. So as soon as they saw that, they immediately sent it to me and went, I know who is going to immediately jump on it and who is also going to be able to get a message to someone. And I said, what would you like me to do with it? And they said, can you reach out? And I said, well, let me wait and see if one of them reaches me. I just did a show. Coincidentally, and it is a coincidence, Mr. McCullum here for Riley gets in touch, and he's been kind of hanging back with the show. And I'm like, well, guess what? I do have one of the fathers. And so right now I can actually see on Patriots Inside the Wire where you're at and who you are. So on X, which Terry, you've heard me before about this. So Jim, about X and what it is now. Okay, so I say this. To me, X is like Twitter and MySpace had a baby, and now it's X Spaces. I know it's a lame joke, but there are groups in there that are actually very, very, very on point with their information. You would not believe General Flynn has been in them. I've ran my own before going with the broadcast. I still will. If Jim, you decide you want to do that too. And I can tell I know who exactly is. And guess the person that got a hold of me for you, Jim, is because of X. And I don't want, not just because of that, but they met me. Because as Terry knows, and as you'll know now, it's meeting me in person. I try, it's just not as easy as people think. This is my background, okay? So nobody ever asked for my resume. They just know that I am Adam's mom, and he's not here. And this is something that I was used to doing, but I could not go back to work in a corporate environment. I can't do it. I also have a lot of things that need to get done for all of us. And I don't mean just us on the screen. I'm talking there right now in our country. This is the time. So as a Gold Star mother, I'm telling you to please pay close attention, maybe not just to the mainstream media, but pay attention to what's going on, because while our children were serving, and then we have all our veterans out there that have served, that I thank from the bottom of my heart. I don't want to see another 22 a day. I don't want to see a number of 3 to 5 a day. And I don't know if y'all know this. I just had to educate someone and say, well, you're going to have to add some plus signs there. Because while you want to talk about 22 a day, are you talking about veterans or are you talking about active duty? And so it's 3 to 5 on our active duty. That includes multiple areas. Again, I stop. It's active duty, line of duty. I go by the DOD. I go by what is there, but I go further with it. And that's why it's called Patriots Inside the Wire and not something else. So without the Patriots paying attention, without the Patriots who vote, this is not political. I'm telling you, I know what happened to the Afghanistan 13 family. I paid close. And Jim will, but I do have someone that wants to get you a message, and we'll see what you think about it. Now, Terry will tell you that Tracy's already said yes. Like, yeah, go ahead and grab me. I'm ready. Like, I wasn't ready before, but I think they woke me up, right, Terry? Something happened last year, and it just needed to be done. So I got done with everything I needed to do for my son, not only with the military. And listen, the military for me was great. Really, it was. I'm one of the lucky ones. His commanders, his colonel, Hoffman, amazing man who's way up there now. We did have one that last 6 months, and you always run into one anywhere in this world, not just in military. And that last 6 months was a rough 6 months because of someone that just really needed to get, as my son would say, knocked down. He needed to be knocked down a few pegs. And that's just my son. He was a born fighting. We grew up that way, though. It was like, if you got to eat, if you got a roof over your head, you have something, it's because you're literally fighting and working to have that. So, I have a little guilt, by the way. It was me that encouraged him, go in the service. I think that's you're made for this, kid. Like 2 hits, you got someone knocked out and gone. I mean, I think this will be great. So I'll stop at my part because I usually don't go with my part unless we're talking about legislation. But Jim for Riley and Terry for Brian Burgess and Gold Star families, not just our mothers. And I want to remember the siblings. Please remember the siblings. I want to tell you to say if yours is prayer, if yours is a walk, whatever it is to you in your heart, try to remember the families that are out there, not just that one day, but 365. 365 every day. It doesn't leave every Memorial Day. Does it mean that we're going to bring the room down? Does it mean that we are just not fun to be around? And I'm not going to lie. There's probably some days, I bet I shouldn't be around you, but there's a lot of days that are going to be like, thank you. I would love to be there. I'm ready. Right? Terry's laughing at me because he knows it's true. I mean, I don't know how to be anything other than so honest that, just honest. So on Truth Tellers as the podcast, as I've been labeled lately, and the girl with the cowboy hat. So when I saw that one, I was like, oh boy, that was interesting. So for Gold Star Families Day tonight, we had a female veteran, Miss May. Thank you. She was a beautiful, beautiful voice there. That came from Yes, I Am the Veteran. We do appreciate that. Terry, for you and Beth and Gold Star Families Day and everything that happens up there for you. I just, again, treat.org. I will be going the full amount of time this year. So I can't wait for it. Jim, I'm going to jump back to you a little bit. I know that we'll be doing a show, but just for a little bit, because I know the people that are looking right now for Riley. Now, Riley, I'd like to pull up a picture here, and I'm going to pull up a few here at the end so I can see who's looking and I can see a message too. Don't worry, I will do it. But I'd like to pull this up. You have Mr. Jim McCullum right here, but he's present right now. Jim, go with this one. Looky there.
That's Riley and his sister Cheyenne. I love that picture.
Yeah. When I saw that, I went, oh my goodness. That one had to come in here. Look at that one. You know who you remind me of, by the way? And it is, well, I better not say that. Someone that's going to be coming on the show will be Randy Couture.
Oh,
and
wow.
I don't know if y'all know this, but he has a nonprofit where he does certain things. And I didn't know that. I love UFC and I love boxing. And everybody's like, what? And I'm like, yeah. And if you watch me in front of the screen, you'll see me like moving. It's like, don't watch me or just laugh at me and fine, whatever. But both my sons, Cash, that's, I'm like, go get it out. Maybe I need to do some more boxing. I quit. Where I'm going to is here. Right here for you. Oh, that's Brian. I'll come back to right here. Right there. And I know that's a phone picture that someone took for you. And I know who that is, but would you like to tell us a little more?
That's Riley's little girl, Little Miss America. Levi Riley Rose. Riley was so excited to be a dad. And unfortunately, August 26th happened, and his little girl was born 18 days after he died. I just absolutely adore that kid. And I see she never met Riley, so she didn't learn these mannerisms and things and facial features and gestures from her dad, but she is Riley reincarnated, and she's got the sass and the attitude. And her mama, Riley and Gigi were so similar, and they made the most beautiful little girl. But no, the girls and I will look at pictures of her, and we just see Riley in so many things.
Look at this. Look at that necklace. Oh my goodness, Jim.
Riley's ashes are inside that.
Nice.
What is that? That's
It's an
beautiful.
urn we had made. My daughters all have one. Gigi's got one. And then I had mine made into a bolo tie.
Really?
That way Riley goes with us. He's always with us.
Wow. That's amazing. I have not seen that. So again, we'll be on a podcast. I'm pulling up a picture here. And this necklace is on a beautiful baby girl. And it is the Marine symbol made out of what I see as the bullets with the ashes of Riley McCollum. As he mentioned the date in August, part of the Afghanistan 13. Jim, I said it. I'm saying it because it's people kind of lump you into, they hear that and then it's recognized. You said something at the beginning of the show about being put in a group. How is that? I don't understand that because I have a different story, but I was wondering about it.
As far as the 13 of us?
Yeah, being put like in a group. And is that, I don't know how that works. I'm just curious.
It's been extremely beneficial, especially in the last 6 months. I hit a spot after the second anniversary and I just checked out. I pushed everybody away. I quit talking to everybody. I tried to stay strong for my girls and for Riley for so long that I didn't really allow myself to process anything. I mean, it was such a whirlwind. Riley died. The baby was born. We didn't have his memorial until October 23rd. And I just entrenched myself in staying busy and being strong for my girls. And you had mentioned earlier, you're so strong. I can't believe how strong you are. They didn't see me falling apart behind by myself. Lights are out, and the days it was all I could do just to get out of bed. I did really well for about the first year and a half, and then I hit a spot with something in me. I just almost gave up. Yeah. I had fought as long and as hard as I could, and I just didn't have any fight left in me. And I can't even remember what happened about 6 months ago. It was right before our second CENTCOM report in Tampa. There's one father, Taylor Hoover's dad, Darren. He's one of the 13 also. And unknown to me, he was always in constant contact with my daughter and checking in, making sure I was good. And he always seemed to know when to send me a message, just, "Hey, Pops, how you doing?" And he sent me a message one day, and it was at the perfect time, and it just hit me differently. And it's like, I got this, and put the boots back on, and away we go. And I haven't stopped since. But the families that I have met, and I finally got to meet Johanni's family when we were in DC. She was the missing link. Their family was the missing link. And I finally got to talk to Rosie and her mom. And it was such a healing, just beautiful moment now I've met all the families. And there's 6 or 7 of us that we travel and we go to Washington and things of that nature. And I've said this 100 times. I may have lost a son, but I gained 1,000. Yeah. And my family has grown exponentially.
Yes.
And it's like we've known each other our entire lives. I still learn more stories about them, and I learn stories about their kids, but there is something so comforting in having those people. And if I can share this too, we were at the RNC, and Herman and Alicia, Herman read the names of our 13 kids at the RNC, and everybody said their names back. We all held it together on stage, but when we got behind that screen, that was such a powerful moment. That is the first time that our kids' names had ever been publicly mentioned, especially in that magnitude. there were hugs and tears, and none of us realized how badly we needed that moment. And now together as a unit, we keep finding those moments, and that just gives us strength to keep moving on. And we're trying to get some changes made through legislation and things of that nature too, so this never happens again. Without getting too political, it was something that was avoidable, and there were steps made that made it possible to happen. But yeah, we're trying to get some changes made there, and the family, you guys included, you're family now, so you're not getting rid of me. No, it's so comforting, and you've said it a couple times. There are good people out there. There still are. Every now and then you lose sight of that with all the crap that's going on, but it's pretty comforting to know the right people and meet the right people, like-minded. I hate that we are meeting under these circumstances, but somebody bigger than me is making this possible and putting people in my path when I need them. So
I totally agree with you. I'm sorry if it looks like my attention is away. It's not. My house smells like it's burning.
oh no,
Literally. Sorry, Terry, there, if you want to keep going, I'm sending a message. I have a 15-year-old in my house, literally, like even in a room, and I'm far away, and the smoke is coming at me, and I'm something's.
Yeah, you might want to go check on that.
I have been. I apologize. It's good. He's okay. I just wanted y'all to know that I'm like going. I'm smelling it, and then I never would grab my phone like that, Jim. I want to apologize to you.
not at all. No apology necessary.
I'm here, and a 15-year-old in the house smells like smoke. So I heard every word. I did pick up on something, Jim. So now, Terry, I guess you can fit that piece. Terry will tell you something. There's a reason that they sent me your information, because you mentioned a word which was called make what, Terry? What do you call me? You say, well, what do I do?
What do you do?
He mentioned the word about going to make something change and doing something with legislation.
Well, now I'm drawing a blank. What was that?
Terry teases me because Tracy's in legislation. If she's not going to come to Gold Star Parents Retreat, it's that first 12 hours, because I literally was in session.
Yes.
And so if you want to do legislation, he's like, go call Tracy. So I was there for 12 hours, and a few of them came around me, and a lot of them laughed, but a couple were serious. And they're like, hey, wait a minute. Okay, what do you got going on? Because the more we band together, the more we're going to get done. You find out who's in office, who's really going to be the correct person. Right now, we have something going on that we'll fill everyone in on later. I do believe in what they're doing, and I'm very happy about it. And it's TAPS. Bonnie Carroll, she won't mind everyone knowing this, what she's trying to do. I'm very happy about it. So I'll be looking for a different Congress individual for that, and I'll reach out to her. I just haven't had. But Jim, I do know because of legislation. That's the word I was looking for, Terry. That's why I got the text. That's why I got the message. And they said, hey. And so technically, yeah, he's there. So technically, one of the messages is from someone already serving. And I mean in office. And then another one is someone, and they're not. So that's why I say be careful, because you don't even know who I'm talking about. And you're going to assume that you do. And I'm going to tell you it's both. It's both. So, and I found it out really quick last year year before, I'm in Texas. I can't believe I'm going to say this, but it's hard for me to get it out, and I'm going to do it. There is a Democrat in office that actually worked, if not harder, but equally as hard. And I was able to get to push a little bit more than maybe one office. And I was like, okay, so this is the one everybody's afraid of. This is everyone said, no way, Tracy, do not go there. Don't even go in that office. Are you crazy? This is the guy at the border. Don't you dare. Did you say dare? Okay, fine, I'm going. So that's why I say be careful, because you just never know, Not only that, I say be careful with your words, because at any given time, you really don't know where someone is. And I raised my little brother who took his life not long ago. And I've lost like 20 something people between best friends, people blood related. I'm fortunate to have my children, and I have one more family member living, but it just hit, and like it just kept falling like a domino. So Jim, that's why I was wondering, like being a part of that group. I know that here in Texas, the groups that got together and what they were doing, and an individual that sent me messages about one of those flags that's right behind you. I'm sorry. I know who made those actually for the 13 here in Texas. So, and I don't know if you made it. Were you in Texas, Jim?
I have been in Austin twice.
Okay.
Once for the 1-year anniversary, and then the next year around Father's Day.
You did meet someone who is my sister. She is a best friend, and she had those flags made. And she told me, she said, I met him today. She said, Tracy, he's the one that I met there in the lobby. And I said, are you sure? And she said, I'm positive. There isn't another McCollum. And he's one of the ones that got that flag. And I said, okay, well, I'll see tonight. But I can see it, number one. And you just mentioned you were in Austin. So, again, not another coincidence to me.
Wow.
Right. I know. And that's why we're going to do a show with Mr. Jim McCollum about Riley McCollum. I know it's getting late here, Terry. I'm watching, and I know Terry so well that when he's turning this way, or it's getting close to closing time, right? Which means bedtime, because I'm not 20 something, but
Well, I've got,
what I'd like to do,
my phone over here and another computer over here, and I'm getting messages, and we're actually going to do a talk tomorrow at Roll Call, and we'll be talking about Brian, and we'll be talking to about 300 war veterans there, and then there's other Gold Star families there. So
wow.
Oh, wow.
it'll be.
And is that in the morning, Terry?
That's tomorrow. Yep.
Okay. Yeah. And you do know that you are allowed to leave studio at any time you need to. I will keep Gold Star Parents Retreat up and make sure that everyone knows. I know that they want to hear from you and Jim. I do know. Wow. Okay. I wish y'all could see this picture, but
You're putting out literal fires there at your house. I'm just putting out little
this?
fires here.
Do you see this?
It looks like a plate full of food.
It looks like a whole chicken or something, doesn't it?
Got a
I'm
little
like,
crispy.
kid, what are you cooking? It's got herbs and chicken, and I don't know what it is, but he's okay, everybody. He's okay. All right. I hate that I raise them so well that they can go off and leave, but I can't believe he's that age. What I'd like to do is, Jim, I know that you have a little more time. We discussed that before you came on. And I can see that there's someone there that I'd like for them to stick by. Please stick by. I can see you're there on X, and I know who it is. So hang with us, and we'll talk. But we really wanted you to understand Gold Star Families Day. That is this Sunday. Reach out, whether it's a phone call, a text, whatever that might be. Terry, send me some pictures of what you're going to. I'm always available. If Terry recommends it, I'll go. Now, Jim, if you tell me, I'll go. That's kind of how it works with me, is it has to come through the people. And it's kind of like a village. So I really want to build a permanent I was going to say compound. I better not say that. We're live. I want to build like a little village ranch, basically, where it's just, listen, it's an in and out. Like, you need to come here, come on. I feel like that's what would be great for me. Even my son. I mean, I just feel like that homestead place. So that will be a long-term goal that I have. There is a Gold Star mother who was a gold before my son was killed. I was running Military Moms of Texas, so I did know what Gold Star was. Well, I had to learn. We did a service for a Marine, actually, and I looked at people and I said, if that's ever me, I'm going to tell you right now, you better get to my house and you better watch, because I will not be standing up like that. And I don't think I'll be okay, because I know me. So, and again, Jim, I knew my voice went out. Terry knows the story. We'll get into more of that later, but I told my son, and I got to see him again. I'm grateful for that. So I got to see him twice, but again, we just want to encourage everyone to remember that the families that are out there that served, that didn't take off a uniform, they aren't coming back for a Christmas, a Thanksgiving. They aren't coming back for a birthday. And listen, we all three have something in common here. They are not coming back to raise kids. They are not going to be able to do these things. And that is so hard. The number one thing that I get hit with all the time, and I don't know about the two of you, maybe it's a mom thing. It's like, Tracy, snap out of it. It's been enough time. You got other kids. Aren't you focusing on your other kid? And I'm like, do not make me turn my head sideways. Of course I'm focusing on my children. I mean, I love all of my children, but I don't know how to explain it except say part of me is ripped open and gone. And I'll always be here for my kids. Please don't question me on that part. That part, they know that I love them more than anything in this world. And trust me, I'll do anything in this world for my kids. That means their brother too. So while I'm fighting for the laws that I work on in legislation, it's not going to bring my son back, but it is going to stop what needs to happen. And it's going to help other families. So I'm about that. I'm about Gold Star Parents Retreat at goldstarparentsretreat.org. I really want you all to check that out. Sorry, smoke alarm. His name is Cash. He's named after Johnny Cash. And I'm like, this one's an old soul, though. I'm like, thank you. I got an old soul. He's very wise. Eventually, you'll meet him, Terry. Here you go. This is his first time at any event right here. And he's holding a hat here. It says grateful. And beside him is Mr. Scotty Hastings. He's a veteran. He was shot 19 times, Purple Heart recipient, friend of ours. And we call made it. I usually work with a lot of musicians. Cash got to go. Cash loves the guitar. He's more of a quiet, old soul, extremely smart. The quiet fighter. His brother was the loud fighter. So there's different areas to watch out for. You see that hat, grateful. That's the first time Cash has been anywhere where someone's walked up to him and said, hey, how you doing? Or, handed him a pick and a hat. And both of us were kind of like, we don't really know what to do. But I had helped the Tree of Valor. That's Lori in that picture, by the way, Terry, that's coming to set up the trees at Gold Star Parents Retreat. And Cash is there holding that with his guitar shirt. So first time for my son. And he was like, he really didn't know what to think about that. So it was interesting. But we were grateful for all of our veteran singers that usually are here with us on this show. Terry knows that. Music is medicinal for me. That's what works for me. And there's some other things. Meaning up here, don't go there, y'all. It's a family show most of the time. That was a bad joke again. What I'd like to do is say, please remember our Gold Star families. Terry I'd like to pull up some pictures of Brian and all before I know that you need to get out of here. Stand by, everyone there. I can see you watching on a specific area, and I know what you want. And again, he's still cooking. We're good. But what I'm going to do is I have several veterans here, and they have sent. There's one that's just a dear. They're really good friends. There's just two actually. I better be careful on. I'm going to be careful. I did One Hell of a Woman last night by Brooks Herring for the moms. I have names I'm going to give you, and what's going to happen is I'll play the veteran song, and I'm going to pull up pictures. Going to happen, and you'll get to see pictures of Riley and his family. You'll get to see pictures of Brian and his family, and then you'll see Sergeant Two Step in there, and probably his siblings there with them. So, and I'm going to let the two of you pick. I've got a song called Coming Home. It's not what you think. The Good Parts. Wallet Size. For Those That Remain. Stand and Wasting Beer on You. I've never heard one of those.
I haven't heard that one.
I haven't either. I never gamble. What do we do here, Jim?
Give it a shot.
Are we picking that last one?
Might as
Sure.
All right, y'all. I want to say this then. This is Derek Stoner. I know him, but I don't know him as well. And I'm going to put this so y'all can hear this. I've said he's going to get signed. And Label 22 right now, you need to call me back because I've got two. Right now, I'm about to play Derek Stoner for the first time. Saw him in person there at Hero Stock where my son and I were at. Derek Stoner, look him up. Again, in the veteran world, in the digital era we're in, for any podcast like me, Patriots Inside the Wire, or musician, you take Derek Stoner and Brooks Herring. Brooks Herring is a dedicated veteran to this show. You get their music and you have to add it to a playlist, or they do not get anything from you listening to their music. So create that playlist based on your veterans musicians. You want to know who they are? Come to me, because that's where I can escape. So this will be Derek Stoner. Guarantee he's going to get signed. And Brooks Herring, I want y'all to look him up. Wonderful person that is dedicated. Whatever the Gold Star families need, Tracy, here, you can have it. So, but we're going to go with Derek Stoner because the fathers picked this one. So, Brooks, I got you again when Mr. McCullum comes back. I'm blaming this on Terry and Jim. I can only see for Mr. Derek Stoner. This is his music. He is a veteran. And here goes his song. And as we go, watch the pictures that are coming around.
Well, I've been known to leave the lights on all day. I may lose track of time and stay out a little bit too late. I've been caught on the kitchen floor in my muddy boots, but you ain't ever gonna catch me wasting beer on you. Just last week I went and blew off the laundry. I fell asleep right in the middle of your cocktail party. There's a whole lot of things that you might see me do, but you ain't ever gonna catch me wasting beer on you. We can run around town doing all the girly things you like. I'll hold your hand, be your man, and a shoulder where you can cry. When my down-home syndrome country shines on through, you know you ain't ever gonna catch me wasting beer on you. I messed up big when I went and forgot your birthday. Now, honey, I'm sorry, but you know I can't always be perfect. So you can holler, yell, and scold me till your face turns blue, but you ain't ever gonna catch me wasting beer on you. We can run around town doing all the girly things you like. I'll hold your hand, be your man, and a shoulder where you can cry. woke up Sunday morning, it was round about noon. There was a letter on the table with some pictures from our honeymoon. She said, I took the doggy, don't you call me, and I'm taking the rest of the booze. 'Cause you ain't ever gonna catch me wasting beer on you. She said, go to jail or straight to hell, honey, I don't care. You can run around the house all day long in your underwear. I'm never gonna fall for another young fella with an attitude. And you ain't ever gonna catch me wasting beer on you. She said, I ain't ever wasting beer on you. Somebody pass me another cold one now.
Wow. Oh, here we go. I'm going to roll this back really quick.
Well, I've been known to leave the lights on all day. I may lose track of time and stay out a little bit too late. I've been caught on the kitchen floor in my muddy boots, but you ain't ever gonna catch me wasting beer on you. Just last week I went and blew off the laundry. I fell asleep right in the middle of your cocktail party. There's a whole lot of things that you might see me do, but you ain't ever gonna catch me wasting beer on you. We can run around.
Baby, I won't say a word. I don't wanna wake you when I go. Gonna kiss my baby girl. She's gonna miss me, yeah, I know. If I end up gone forever, just know I'll always love you so. I'll go quietly tonight, but soon you'll hear me coming home. You hear me coming home. Some things I don't understand. This isn't everything I'd hoped. I wasn't born to be a fighter, but I'm following my soul. And if I end up gone forever, just know I'll always love you so. I'll go quietly tonight, but soon you'll hear me coming home. You hear me coming home. At home, in the morning when you wake, and I'm gone, and I'm half a world away. I'll be back before you know it. See you later, don't lose sleep. You can see me when you're dreaming. I'll be watching quietly. But if I end up gone forever, just know I'll always love you so. I'll go quietly tonight, but soon you'll hear me coming home. You hear me coming.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm coming back to you right here. This is a picture I have up right now for those that are watching. This is Gold Star Parents Retreat we were at last year with Mr. Terry Burgess. I wanted to end and show you that. Where we want to say thank you to the Patriot Guard riders and those that led us out there to the beautiful monument, Terry. And And we got to all see that and be there together for Gold Star Parents Retreat. So, Jim, those group photos I'm showing you there, I'm doing this personally. Everybody out there, this is Gold Star Parents Retreat. We're thanking American Airlines there. Thank you to American Airlines. Thank you to the Patriot Guard Riders. This is at Fort Hood. I do need to put this out. If anyone is out there and you'd like your photo up here in Texas, it's an 8x10. Let us know. Terry's easy to get a hold of, so am I. You can go through the website, patriotsinsidethewire.com. It's just info@patriotsinsidethewire or Patriots Inside the Wire, pretty much on any platform you can think of in every podcast. So we can also use that building for galas, an annual dance, whatever we'd like to do. That building was built specifically for the Gold Star family. So I'm going to put myself back out there and come up with what I know what I'd like to do. But it's going to involve, the riders coming in. And then my son is named Two Step for a reason. So tonight we have had, Jim, I'll be able to talk a lot more with you here in a bit. Vicky, I do see you. Thank you so much. We had Vicky on last night. Yes, Army Mom. A lot of people are waking up. Okay. Fort Leonard. Yes. Fort Leonard. Yes, they do. Thank you. They do. But we have it here and we will take care of that. Come to Texas. That's what I tell you. Come to Texas. We'll make it happen. There's a lot going on. Or where there's something going on outside of Texas, let us know, because there's plenty of us that don't know, including me, what's going on and where it's going on at. So I love to get out that information, whether it's remember, it's Patriots Inside the Wire. So Inside the Wire military, that means the safe zone. Patriots, I hope I don't have to explain that. But I want to say thank you for joining us tonight on Patriots Inside the Wire. Terry, I know it's getting late. I know that you have to get up and speak in front of a lot of people tomorrow. And so you have the blessing to click and hit leave studio and say goodnight to us here. And Jim, if you'd like, we'll roll a little bit longer and I'll ask you a couple things just for the ones that are sitting there waiting. But and then again, we'll have a full show with Mr. McCollum in honor of Riley, the Afghanistan 13. Right now, Staff Sergeant Brian Burgess, his whole family, his sister. I got to meet his sister. Yeah. Oh my goodness, her acrylic knife. The airport took her acrylic knife she made and let me keep a real one. That's a story. Yeah. Gold Star Parents Retreat, our little knives we got. Terry knows that one. That's why he laughed. They took an acrylic made knife that Brian's sister made, Brandy, and let me keep my real pocket knife. Okay. It works for me. It was an accident, though, people. I promise on that. I promise.
Yeah, we blame that on Lauren.
I'll blame it on whoever, whoever else just there. It's just that, okay, you took the one that I can go get Brandy and say, hey, can you make another one? But I still have my Gold Star Parents knife. It traveled home on an airplane with thank you to American Airlines again for all that you do on letting us go out to Gold Star Parents Retreat. It can't happen without you helping us and coming together, where it's $1 or $5. Go to goldstarparentsretreat.org again. goldstarparentsretreat.org. goldstarparentsretreat.org. $1, $5, whatever you can give. Whether it's for the brisket, the cabin, the food, the flight. It is very, very, very expensive, folks, but it's got to be about the people, and it's the people that we count on. So let's get the people to take care of people. That's what I recommend. Thank you, Terry.
Yeah, thank you so very, very much. Jim, it's a pleasure.
Absolutely, sir.
I'll look forward to your show, and I look forward to meeting you in person one of these days.
Yes, indeed.
Got some stuff to share with you. So
yes,
thank you very, very much.
We'll put them on a waiting list, Terry, to see what happens for See if you get somebody that drops.
Yeah, absolutely.
Don't. I got you on the waiting list, Jim.
Very good.
All right. Well, thank you all so very, very much. Wish you a good
Very
night and
good.
have a good weekend.
Thank
you,
you.
sir.
I will be talking to you soon. Say hello to Beth for me, please.
I will. I will. She'll say
Thank
hi
you.
back. All right.
Of
Good
course.
night.
Thank you. Good night, Terry. Thank you for joining us. Patriots Inside the Wire. Good night to Mr. Terry Burgess. His son is Staff Sergeant Ryan Burgess. Beth and Terry run goldstarparentsretreat.org. Please check that out and see what you can do. Now, our numbers are increasing up there, Jim. So my original plan is I am going to get into a little bit here, but I want everybody to know that we're going to do an actual show with Jim. And that way you'll get what I know what you're waiting for. But I know that you also care and you want to honor and you want to understand what happened. We have tripled our numbers just since then. So, Jim, I've already told you, I'm a truth teller. I told you this. This is why we'll do a whole show. Patriots Inside the Wire right now. You're all welcome to turn it off if you don't want to stick by on this part. I know who's here and wants to hear a part so that when we get into the next show for Jim McCullum and his family, for Riley McCullum and what happened there in Arlington and Washington recently, and the viral video that's in the millions right now on YouTube. I did receive a personal text, call, message, and it's ironic. Something had happened last year with me and DeSantis and Trump, and I'm not going to go further except to say Trump was correct. The other one wasn't. That's okay because I got it corrected, and I had to speak out and kind of untangle where everybody was going with it. So when that happened to me, the people that were sending me these messages, they're there right now. I was blowing it off at first, but Jim, when this person sent me, not yours, blowing mine off, when they sent it to me, I said, let me go investigate a little bit more. And they said, you know who comes on your show the end of every month? And I said, yes. And they said, go watch this and send a message. And I said, what do you want the message to be? And he said, I want the message to be that I want you to find out if the family really does want to be included with what's going on right now, which voting is coming up, right, Jim? So
Yep.
You can immediately tell me no. You can immediately tell me whatever you want. We're not on mainstream media. We are, I don't do that. So the broadcast is a podcast as well that will go out. I will break apart this part for everyone, but we have our live viewers right now that are there. I know they want to ask you. They want to ask you about Arlington, and you had Trump there. And instead of answering for you, can you tell me the name of the father that decided to jump onto YouTube first? And why?
If I have it right, it would be Darren Hoover would have been the first one to speak up. I did not go to Arlington. I don't have Riley buried there. I've actually got my urn and his wife's urn behind me.
Right.
As a coalition, as a group of people, we discussed, the Hoover family really wanted to invite former President Trump to Arlington. And they did so. It was completely, there was nothing political about it other than the fact that Trump has been there for us. Not in a political sense, but is in a humanitarian sense. He has said our kids' names. He has put his arms around us. He has welcomed us. He's made phone calls. He has been the most genuinely beautiful person through all of this that has been so appreciated, where we haven't gotten anything from anybody else. So the Hoover family wanted him to be there. Nicole G's mother-in-law and aunt agreed they would like him to be there. There's a couple other families. I'm not comfortable saying their names just in case they don't want the notoriety. Tyler Andrews was there. and I'm sure you know who Tyler Andrews is, the double amputee, and Kelsey Lanehart, who also was wounded at Abbey Gate in a wheelchair. There's a picture of her with President Trump laying a wreath. There was absolutely the most horrifying, disgusting thing for me was that they called it out and they made a issue out of it on the 3rd anniversary. What was said, how everybody was attacked, how Trump was attacked for being there, and supposedly a ruckus and stuff that not one family member has seen. Nobody witnessed it. There's no video. There's no anything of the ruckus that they claimed happened. And then the families were getting attacked. There were families getting doxxed, and there were families, their jobs were being threatened. It was just absolutely, for me, it was disgusting. On the 3rd anniversary, something so innocent that we welcomed as a group of people, as a group of the 13 parents, we wanted him there. We wanted that comfort, for a lack of better term. And he has been that comfort for us. The guy has been a rock. I can't say enough positive things about him. And that is completely not political. That is as a genuine human being. And I have seen what he's done. I have seen how he approaches my daughters and I and my grandchildren. It was a beautiful occasion and a beautiful moment to be shared and captured in picture and video. And it took a left turn, and you've said a couple times, and maybe even last night's podcast, poking the mama bear. Well, they definitely poked a bear with this one, because it put a fire under all of our butts. It's like, all right, we've got to stand up for him, one, because that is not what happened. And now we're pissed. Other things are there's fallout from that from both sides, but we are more united now moving forward than we have been. And we're not backing down.
Jim, I see who's there. And I want to say thank you to Representative Micklin, Representative Shane, I'll use your first name right now, for sending me what you did. I already had, the end of the month, when Trump could not campaign because he was literally being held. There's people that have been campaigning from the beginning. And it just so happens the individual who would be on tonight, but because it's Gold Star Families Day on Sunday, he's going to come back. He and I had a discussion, and I said, what is it here? What's going on? And what is the deal? And he will wear a big white cowboy hat, and he always does. And anyone that's ever watched this show knows who I'm talking about. I'm looking here for his bus, because Jim, you'll die laughing. If I don't find it right now, it will be big green bus. It's called gasandgroceries.us. Again, go to gasandgroceries.us. If you check out gasandgroceries.us, they are traveling around in this bus. It's very expensive, raising awareness. If you go to gasandgroceries.us and enter your zip code, you will see how much inflation has gone up just for milk, eggs in your own zip code. Not just that, some real statistics on what is going on. And that is our commissioner. It's Commissioner Sid Miller. He's known as the big cowboy hat, Trump's man from Texas. And here's the website, gasandgroceries.us. So Commissioner Miller wanted me to give you a message. And just as he asked me, Tracy, are you good to go if we call you to intrude? And I said, you better call me. That's my answer. So, and I don't want anyone sending me messages about you're voting here, you're voting there. Please go do your own homework. My son was serving. I am allowed to talk. I am allowed to have my platform because I don't work for a corporate entity. What I do have is an open platform here for Patriot sponsors I'm looking for, so that I do not have to go into mainstream media for a reason. And so, Jim, on the wall back here The only president's letter that's back there is Trump. It took him all of 15 minutes after fighting for 2 years for someone to say, hey, like, what the hell? This is not right. Like, pay attention here. 15 minutes. What? You've got to be kidding me. Like, this isn't okay. This has to be taken care of at a federal level. And it does. Well, unfortunately, when he was put out, I was put out. So I'm starting all over, going state to state. And, you know, with legislation, it's a long process. It's not as easy as people think. And so building a team of Gold Star families in legislation, that is my goal. So when I look up at Terry, and he's more like, talk to Tracy on that one, because we're going to show up, and we are definitely going to back it up. And I'm fine with that. I'll be that person, because I've pretty much always been that way. And I think of it as fighting. I think of it as telling the truth. I'm a truth teller. I may not know all the facts about what's going on out there. I'll admit that. But what I do know is a personal story. And I have a personal story, and you have a personal story. And my personal story means that it took someone just a few minutes, 15, that was president at the time, to take something and go, wait a minute, she's onto something here. This is not okay. And it's a long letter. This is not like a short letter I've got back here. If you go to my son's website, you're going to see a generic version of what happened to my son. I don't have the full story out. I eventually will, documentary style. I haven't decided. It will come. Right now I'm focusing on like what just happened to you. I mean, all of you. I don't mean just you with Riley, and Riley's with you. What I mean is me getting a message and finding out what's going on. And then, hey, were they really approached like that? Because we know that they went through protocol. And so I have talked to official people who said, Tracy, we know for a fact, yes, they went through every bit of protocol. And I said, well, I don't actually know. I think a lot of people believe that we might all know each other, right? I'm just now, Jim, it's taken me a long time to decide that I really want to get out of bed. I did a whole lot of fighting in the beginning, and then it was, you know, I collapsed, you know, and I'm just an honest person, and you can't put me back into the corporate world. I'd lose my job real quick and have everybody walking out with me. I'm one of those. And that was happening before my son was killed. But, listen, when you go to vote, then vote for who you're going to vote. You know the facts, you know, that's fine. I can't tell you who to vote for, but I can give you information. And so we're here as a resource. We're here for information. If I'm speaking for myself as a mother who's had a son in the Army who was immediately taken care of as far as a service member and their family, and said, whoa, wait a minute here. It was President Trump. My son has served under multiple presidents too. In Iraq, you know, stop pay, stop loss. If anyone's still familiar with what happened back then under a different presidential individual, a lot happened. And it's the same time there that Staff Sergeant Brian Burgess was sent to Iraq longer than he should have been as well. So, no, my son's story is very generic, what's out there. Trump didn't get the generic version. The generic version of the law is what we're going to put out, because when you're going into legislation, it really needs to be bland like that, since it's going to be for everyone. But you can change policies by going base to base. I don't know if you know that, Jim, but I decided to go base to base as well when I figured out, wait a minute, someone gave me a tip and they said, hey, while you're waiting, because it's a long process, go base to base. You really can change policy. And that's the truth. You actually can start working with the people. You can make a difference. So you can do that. And I was able to do that at a few of them. I personally want to see Trump back in, because I know that he cares, literally, I'm not saying this from a news article, and I know that I've got someone part of the broadcast family, got the singer in here tonight that would be yelling at me right now, but that's fine. Yell at me, but I'm going to yell right back and tell you, I would have invited him as well. And I have said to the individual that called me, the commissioner, I said, hey, I'll go. Call me up. And then I have a Border Patrol. He was in the Marines, Javier Vega Jr. He was in the Marines, got out and he was in school and saw what was going on at the border, decided he'd go work as a Border Patrol agent. And they're related to me. His kids and his wife, his mother and father, related to me, were visiting him. And unfortunately, part of my law involves this. A lot of rental cars are used for a lot of bad things that they shouldn't, and they don't check your driver's license. There is no law to validate who's driving that car. You show it, so everybody assumes. So did I, until military knocked on my door. So rental car, things happening in them that shouldn't, comes through. Illegal drivers coming across. This is before Title 42 lifted. This is before Trump was there and on the scene with his children, father, and all there. His father was shot. It's Javier Vega Jr. again, Border Patrol agent. A lot of people don't talk about our Border Patrol agents that are out there. He was a Marine first. So I'm very, very vocal about this. And this is why you're getting the sense of my truth telling. It's like a lot has happened around me. So I don't get that choice. My choice is the truth. And I can tell you that when someone rolls up for the second time in my family in a vehicle they shouldn't have for illegal means, we got a problem. We already have a problem with our border. We have God knows who, where, what, when. I don't mean that I don't want people. I'm telling you, there is a reason to have a process.
Yes.
So I'm not against people. I am against things that are happening to people. Javier is not here anymore. He was shot as well. He reached over and saw his dad shot and did not want his children and wife and mother shot. And so he made it. He crawled over and he was able to get two of them. The one wounded, one gone. So two of them are in jail right now. And every year you have to go and say, don't let them out. It's ridiculous. But they're going to get let out. I mean, it's like, are you kidding me? His father, I don't know how much longer he's going to make it. I hate to say this, but it's true. That's horrible. Can you, yes. I mean, if I'm sitting right there, I thank God I wasn't sitting right there while what happened with my son, but this is on scene. So I'll have that true story as well. Ironically, it's going to come back to back with you. We didn't plan it that way. I know everyone's thinking that, but that's not what happened. I actually just met Jim not long ago. So, Jim, if you got a call that's, how do you feel about going when they're campaigning somewhere near you and saying, I support him. I do want him in office. What would you say?
I have zero problem stating my political views, but I state them in a very factual way, a very respectful way. I can have conversations with anybody on the planet, but you're going to know my reasons why. And I'm very passionate about those reasons, especially since August 26, 2021. Every state is now a border state, and I pay attention to all of everything that goes on across the country. And I'm articulate enough and intelligent enough that I can have those conversations respectfully, again, like I said, but blunt and to the point. And you can like it or you don't have to like it, but at least you're going to hopefully listen to what I said and go research it yourself or go find the answers yourself. You can tell me I'm full of crap or go, wow, he was right. More times than not, people go, wow, he was right. And
Jim, I agree. What do you say when someone will say to you, well, what about the crimes? What about the, what's going on with him? And don't you care about that? Or
I don't believe any of those crimes are actual crimes. I think it is all orchestrated, and it is just nothing but an attempt to try to keep him out of office because they're afraid of him getting back in office and making the changes and the old slogan, draining the swamp. I think 99% of everything that they've thrown at him is all fabricated, made up, throwing spaghetti at the wall to see what's going to stick. And for me, as a patriot and as an American and watching what happens in our politics, that's just disgusting. It's even happening in local politics now. That atmosphere and that climate is just infesting politics across the country, where now that's the standard way. Instead of having a debate and talking about the issues, now you just attack your opponent. And I got to watch it firsthand in the county I live in now. Outside money from Virginia coming in, not to talk about the issues, but to just slander the hell out of your opponents.
It's not nice. I agree. And so I'm glad you said that. I feel the same way. And so I do pay attention, and I am glad for the ones that I have met and that have been working very hard at educating and getting information out there. I have Dr. Tim Wesley, who's worked with me for quite some time. His best friend is Lieutenant Colonel Alan West. A lot of people recognize that name, Alan West. They help with the Two-Step Act, which is my son went by two-step. I'll be back in legislation, but again, we have a true story, and that's what I go by. I go by in life what's happened. I do agree with you, and I say this: okay, fine, I'll give you 10%. If there's 10% that has been done wrong, you cannot tell me that every one of you are sitting back there judging that you haven't done something that you would take back. So would I rather have a World War III situation where we've got a mess that we've got to get together, or would I rather have a statistical deal where I have a female for the first time in office? And that's what someone's saying to me. Well, Tracy, don't you want a female for the first time? And I said, not this time. I'm sorry, not this time. I don't. It won't work this time. And I need you to understand that for me. I am all about female empowerment. I'm not a feminist by any means, but I will tell you, because I still believe in my own values, and I'm allowed to do this, people. That's just what I know. And what I know is how I was treated, how my son was treated. And that, listen, even one of my kids, you send them off to school and they come back and it's like, what did they do to you? I had it all set. That's why I'm like, man, I gotta start educating and getting information out. And I actually had a veteran that I met who said, Tracy, don't go back corporate. I know you need the money, but trust me here, with everything that's going on and everything that's coming down. He even came up with the name of the show. I know he's watching right now. The one thing we haven't figured out is how to keep me going so that my house doesn't burn down with whatever my child was trying to cook. But that's why I'm always happy to sit here. When I asked you and I said, hey, Jim, what kind of person are you? Are you good to talk? You said yes. My producer's like, but wait, Tracy, because he knows that I'll do it. We do plan on doing it. It's just that I see who's watching out there on X, and I know exactly what you're asking about, and it is about Trump, and you want to know, is that true? And you want to know about the video that went viral, go watch it. It is on YouTube. Last time I looked, it was 7 million. It's up there, right? 7 to 10 million on the initial father, his first video that was sent to me. And then the rest of the families came through after that. And that was because of trying to say that protocol was not there and that Trump was using this as a political stunt. So I'll say it. He did not use this as a political stunt. I literally have actual people, this is very true, that work beside both campaigns. So I don't want anyone saying, no, you're just playing favors here. Nope. I got both sides here. And I even have the other side saying, yeah, that was messed up. We know that's messed up. It wasn't us, but it was us. Was someone in there. So it's about taking people down. You know, I mentioned earlier, I like UFC, but I don't like it to tear up people like the Wild Wild West and, you know, let's just go nuts out there. We're supposed to be paying attention to a lot more. And look, we're never going to please everybody 100%. Never. But it is at a crucial moment right now in time and in our history that we have got to get this right on what happened. So as we approach voting, it's not far away. I can't believe this. It's going to be October as of next week. Shocks me. And I wanted you to know the commissioner usually comes on tonight. We went ahead and did Gold Star Families, and he'll either when he comes back on, he can come on with you, or B, actually A and B. I'll let him know that yes, that just as Tracy said, if you want to call me and hear from a Gold Star mom that will tell you that has had Trump immediately, and go look it up, people. Go look up Roger Stone's interview. I did do that one to clear up some information about the Border Patrol agent, my son, and a cousin who did pass from fentanyl. They got that all messed up, turned it against, I've got people messaging me, my son died of, no, he did not die of fentanyl, and I've never met that politician in my life. So, you know, there's another mother somewhere that's, you know, hurt by this. And I did the right thing and I spoke up. So I took care of that by going with Roger Stone. And I still have not aired it myself. I need to do that. I need to put it out. And it's ironic because everyone wanted to. I'm just honest. And they're like, well, aren't you mad though that your son's caught up in this? And I said, I'm mad at the person, which is DeSantis. And I want an apology. McCollum, the speaker there at the debate, I still think that both of them owe an apology. I won't get it. Maybe he is a good guy. I don't know. I'm from Florida, actually, ironically. I do know people that are there running and in office, and I know how they feel, and I'll go by that. I respect their opinions, and they know more than me. So really what it was is getting their information wrong.
Yes.
So you've got lobbyists out there, and I'm not a lobbyist. I'm a mom who had her son killed while serving. I've got to go create this law, and there's lobbyists around me. Now I'm figuring this out. They're already way ahead of me. So by the time they're following me around, you know, one's this great individual, this great lady, and it just literally the lobbyist that was around the political party when they went to the border, they mixed up stories. They mixed up who was who, whose son was whose, and then my son was used as the one that was killed by the drugs and the border. And I said, no, y'all got to get this one right, because my son was actually serving current active duty in the military. I got a cousin that was a Marine, always a Marine, Border Patrol, shot and killed in front of his whole family. His father shot too. I do have a cousin that did take one pill. It was fentanyl. Gone. She's no longer here. But my son was actually killed and should have never been killed the way he was killed. It's not as basic as the law says, but I'm going to tell you, for everybody out there, I'm not out there fighting and doing this law for my son, because I can't bring him back. I can make a difference by making sure this one area, and you figured it out by now, truth teller, right? I had everybody and their brother saying, Tracy, whatever you do, year before last, every 2 years in Texas, don't say the word border. And this is before Title 42 lifted. And anyone that's listening, Title 42 is something that Trump put into effect for the border. I was in the Capitol when it lifted it, and I'm not kidding you. A horde of people came running through, bullhorns, you name it. I'm talking about in Austin. I literally looked over at the officers in there with their AKs, and I said, "Am I safe in here?" And he said, "Do me a favor, go this way and go here." And then he brought me around the back way and he's explaining some things to me. And he said, "I saw is that your son in that picture?" And I said, "Yes, sir." He said, "Was he serving while that happened?" I said, "Yes, sir." He said, "Do you happen to know the statistics and what we deal with as police officers because of the law you want?" And I said, "Probably not. If you want to tell me, that'd be great." I was shocked. I was shocked to hear what this man told me. And then I checked it out with the police officers union, the different unions of the Border Patrol, Texas Rangers. There's just different groups. You can get all your information. TxDOT, the Department of Transportation. Wow. I was fully educated that, boy, did I need to start using that word border. The reason nobody wanted me to use that was because when you're working on something bipartisan, you really don't want a division. I don't have a division on this one. This one's about people. It's very easy. I don't care if you've got a L next to your name, a R, or a D. I don't even think there's letters anymore, to be honest with you. I don't like all these people's names. So, Jim, in your own words, and what happened, someone there did do what they need to do. They actually did something for Trump to come.
Yes.
So they went through a route. How were they able to do that? Somehow they got a hold of someone and.
I want to say it was Governor Cox from Utah, or maybe the Attorney General. I don't have the actual honest answer on that. It was one or the other. Helped the Hoover family get in touch with President Trump's team and invite him to come. And he immediately said, "Yes, I will go." He was campaigning somewhere else. He was across the country at the time.
Yeah.
But he said, "If there is any possible way I can make it, I will be there." And he was there. Yeah. And on that note, for anybody that's questioning whether what he did was right or legal or he followed protocol, all you have to do, and this is a simple Google search, Obama is in Area 60 doing campaign videos, tons of pictures. President Obama did a video, I want to say it was in like March of 2012 is when he shot the video, but he used it in his 2020 campaign. Same area, names are shown, everything that they're just hammering Trump over has already been done multiple times. Going back, I want to say it was back to Gerald Ford I was able to find. He didn't do anything wrong. He was asked to be there. He was not shooting a campaign video. He was capturing the moment for all of us because we asked him to do it. It was asked that he, and I can't remember if it was Darren or one of the daughters, but they didn't want people on their phones. They wanted everybody to be in the moment, enjoying the beauty of that third anniversary with the families and being there with their loved ones. The Nicole G, obviously not a son, but the Hoover family was there with their son, and they wanted to capture the beauty of that moment. Sounds horrible as I spit that out, but it was a beautiful occasion. Sad in all rights. But the reason for everybody being there and asking President Trump to come was beautiful. It was from their hearts. We, as a group, thought that would be a beautiful thing. So to say otherwise is disrespectful. And that's how I feel, is they absolutely disrespected the 13 families, regardless of what your politics are. That is the third anniversary of our 13 kids dying, and the way it was handled and the media covered it and the way they politicized it was absolutely despicable.
I agree 100%. And the numbers just keep going up. And what I want to keep reminding everybody, I have sending me a message for a reason here. And I'm gonna grab that link for them real quick, Jim. It's interesting. This will eventually happen to you too. I'll give that message. I'll make sure they see this part. And I continuously said, fine, and they'll say, okay, come on, because it's Ted Nugent, it's the commissioner, it's people that have gotten together and decided we're going to go campaign too. They started it because they had to, and now they keep going. And I do have a show that you probably want to find, and it is an actual true story about the attempted about the attempt. Give me 1 second, Cody. I can't believe this. Hold on. He's tripping me out here. So Jim, the attempt on Trump. I have firsthand account. And if the commissioner had not been standing up with his white cowboy hat that whole time, he would have been the one shot. Unfortunately, we lost the fireman that I want everybody to remember. There was a nephew of Jackson, who's a politician, the nephew, that was a kid that was sitting there, another lady that's never even talked about that was shot. So what we will do, I see your message. You can see private chat there too, by the way, Jim. So what we'll do for all of you who are listening, because I know you want to hear more about what's going on with Jim McCollum, the Afghanistan 13. What legislation are we talking about? What am I talking about when it comes to getting involved and how to do that? I'm going to implore you to stick around to watch Patriots Inside the Wire. I am going to get Jim in here, and we will give you more then. Right now, I'm going to switch the topic on Jim it up a little bit because we're going to end up having a show for you. So, Jim, first, I want to say to everyone out there, thank you. Thank you for listening. I see you're watching out there on X. I'm telling you, I know it's an interesting time, and being able to get the right information from the right people, it's very easy in a digital era to quickly get your information. So I just tell you, go do it. Don't send me your hate messages. I've had enough hate in my heart because of my son having to even go to Iraq. So ease up, leave me alone. That's what I say. And then, so Jim, I'm going to switch gears on you here. I had an instance where somebody was serving around your son, and then they got in touch with you later, or they may have came around in the beginning and helped you. Later got a hold of you. Has that happened yet? Someone that got out of the service and decided to help you, and it wasn't really known at first?
It actually happened rather quickly. My granddaughter was born on Camp Pendleton September 13th of 2021. My daughter Royce and I flew out there immediately to be with her. And then the 2-1 Marines came back on the 15th. So my daughter and I went and welcomed his unit back to Camp Pendleton. I wanted to do it, and I thought it was a great idea until I got there. And then I'm glad I was there, but then the heartbreak of knowing Riley should be coming back. And it was like 11 o'clock at night, dark, an absolutely beautiful presentation as they march in. People don't, unless you witness it, you can't understand how that feels and how proud I was of those kids. Anyway, that was beautiful. And I got to spend 3 days with Marines telling me I was 10 feet away from Riley. He was there and then he was gone. Those relationships now continue. And I try to reach out every so often. I don't want to burden them. It's so hard to talk to or talk about. And I'm sure they are sick of talking about it. So I'll just, give them a, hey, how you doing? Miss you, thinking about you. And if they want to talk, they'll talk.
They will.
And
So I have something for you, Jim. you just hit on something. I wasn't even talking about going to a event where you watch them come home. There was someone that decided, and actually his father kind of looked at him and said, son, I don't know if you knew her son or not, but she's out here fighting as a female all by herself. Are you helping this woman? And he looked and he respects his mother and father just genuinely. And said, you know what? I'm going to go help this mom, because I was in a situation where it's right around where Ahmaud Arbery was killed in Fort Stewart area, where your trucks running down and different things were happening. And unfortunately, you got good people and you got bad people. I did have someone, and I'm sitting here talking to you tonight. And if you look in the private chat over there, someone says, hey, mama. And I had just gotten a message recently because I was wondering where he was. And I have not seen him since. He went away. Well, I hadn't seen him. He went away. If he comes back, this is why I'm like, oh my goodness. He's sending me a message there and I'm going, oh my goodness. There he is. It's him. I was like, you went away. We're adding you real quick. Cody.
Hey.
Can you hear us?
I can. Can you hear me?
Absolutely.
Yes. I'm blown away right now. I'm blown away. Like Jim was just talking about going to a thing. Did you hear that? And
I did. I've actually been listening for about the last hour on Facebook.
Oh, but did you hear what he did? And like, wait, so Cody is the one. I'm going to tell all the secrets a little bit, Cody. Cody's the one.
You can tell them all. I'm an honest guy.
Truth teller, I can't help it. This is the guy behind the scenes that was like, And plus your dad, though. Your dad did go, son, if that was your mother and you didn't, you're in trouble. And so
yeah, absolutely.
I said, did you know my son? And he said, honestly, we didn't really like each other. And I probably see that Adam was younger, a lot younger than you. So I'm like, I wouldn't be your mom, but you can say sister or something. But Cody's the one. I'm there and I'm not in a safe situation. And I literally roll up to the trailer where the officers that weren't even doing their job then. And it was later that someone else was killed by officers that were retired. So, and I'm not getting into that case, but what I'm telling you is Cody rides up on his motorcycle and he's like, are you crazy? And I said, who the heck goes to the cops in a small town and starts rumbling through a town without something? Like, you can't just roll up in here and go. And I'm like, oh, yes, you can if you're me. I'm like, so did you know my son? He's like, yep, I sure did. And Cody was active duty at the time. Cody, thank you for your service. But Cody, thank you.
You got real low. I can barely hear you, Tracy.
Really? Jim,
yeah, I don't know. The audio got real low.
I can hear you.
I'm just saying thank you, and Jim can hear you. So, Jim, tell him I said thank you for behind the scenes work that you did, keeping me safe. And then thank you. We did go to Adam would have been coming back from Afghanistan, and he wasn't coming back, but Cody took me to the base, and we watched his unit come back. Remember that, Cody?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you remember the commander that I can't stand the last 6 months? You literally tried to get him to say hi to me. The man walks off and is so rude.
Oh, no.
I was like, Cody, you better get me out of here because I am not okay. And I am like my son. Am I, Cody?
And if you remember, I think that trip that you're talking about, I think you guys ended up staying at the house, Cash, and everybody came to the house for, I think, a day or two. But yeah.
Oh, no, not that one.
I was raised differently. There was no letting you do that on your own.
No, because you knew. A lot of people don't know what I was doing, but I had to do a lot. And I am thankful for the brothers that are out there and the sisters that even behind the scenes were. And a lot of you don't even know which ones were and which ones weren't. But his unit, as they deployed, some of them weren't okay because of what was happening. So when I came back and I have another soldier walking up to me, he lost his leg there, and he wanted me to have a card that my son signed for your lunches when you're in the service. You know, he was over this. Cody would probably understand the term better than me. You've got a younger soldier, and Adam was the sergeant over this unit, and he had signed his lunch card or whatever it is to get his food. And he said, I want you to have this. And I said, you can keep it, son. I mean, you served. And he said, no, your son's name's on here. He signed it for me. And there's a lot of us that appreciate the fact that he stood up, and he definitely would knock somebody out, and we certainly would want him downrange. And they said, we're guessing that you probably are a little bit of that rebel. And I said, well, I don't know if rebel's the word, but I'm not okay when people start treating each other a certain way and, you know, help each other out when you need to. So Cody, you just threw a whole nother show in here for me. So I'm going to have to get a hold of you and see if you'll do a show about your veteran and how hard it is, to be a veteran right now in today's world and what we're talking about. But yet you've served beside my son and witnessed me going through things that I should have never had to go through. I mean, if anything, as a mom, they should have been saying, we're sorry. This is where you should stay. Let me help you. Instead, it was the complete opposite. A whole cover-up job. So, Cody, I don't even think you, but it turns out I'm completely correct in regards to illegal means, the border, some reason they got that vehicle. So that's why I'm still fighting. So if any of these brothers that still ride think that I'm fighting because someone did an accident, that is not the truth. So, and I know y'all are smart enough to know that it's not the truth just because it's in the news. So, because you know that. So thank you for that. Cody can also attest to the fact that when a UFC fight was on, I could not step away from that TV and was like moving all around. And they're all like, what are you doing? And I'm like,
It's fight night.
I was like, I can't help it. So, and then I said, Cody, can we go somewhere? I'm not a big drinker either, y'all, but I was like, I need a drink. This town has a car dealership, a place with an apple on it that you can shoot pool and do other things you should not be doing when you're shooting pool. And really nothing else in that town. Like, wait, there is the Applebee's. There's an Applebee's and I think one other place to eat. Other than that, there's what we call church. So that was it. So he's like, all right, we can go somewhere, but the problem is it's not going to be really a place that you're probably going to want to go to. And I'm like, oh man, at this point, nothing surprises me. Trust me. So yeah, I can't keep a straight face here. I went in and I was like, oh my God, I do need that drink now. Cody is a veteran. He has served in the Army. He is still out there, I think, in that area. You need to get to Texas, Cody. You need to get out of there. I know that you've lost your mom. I don't know how your dad's doing, but.
Yeah, I'm actually in the Atlanta area right now. But you hit on some things right there, and they weren't treating you properly. When you showed up, they should have rolled out a red carpet, and it should have been nothing but apologetic and understanding and sympathy. And unfortunately, that's not how it was received. But if you don't know, you don't know. She's not going to accept that type of welcoming. When negative comes, she is a UFC fighter, and she's going to fight right back. And that fight's not going to end until it's over. And I've yet to see or hear a bell ring or a fat lady sing, because it's just not going to stop until she gets what she's looking for, or at least the proper, honest answers. And that's really all you were looking for at the time, was honesty and the truth. And I'm sorry that it went the way it did. And I miss two every day. He was an amazing, not only soldier, friend, brother, And the thing about two-step is me and him butt heads a lot. But at the end of every conversation that was a headbutt, there was a hug. And we always walked off smiling and laughing at the end of it. And that was a honest, genuine quality that's hard to find in a man these days.
You're not kidding there. Cody, I don't know what to say. You're going to make me speechless, and that's hard to do. You know that. So you just told them that I am a fighter. You know, Cody, I didn't get a choice. So that's what I was trying to explain to Jim up there. You know, his son is Riley, part of the Afghanistan 13, no longer here. And I just, and we're going to do a full episode. And then I want to get you too, Cody, as a veteran, to speak up on some things, even with you, that are going on. You know, with veterans right now, it's just tough. You know, and I do want to talk to you. I'm just like totally blown away by this right now, by tonight kind of coming full circle right before Gold Star Families Day. Because Jim, honestly, Cody's correct. I do not get contacted that much until someone either gets out of the service or they run into somebody that actually has figured out part of the truth. And then they come find me and say, hey, I want to apologize, or I want to finally tell you something that I didn't get to tell you then because I was afraid either A, I'm going to get kicked out, and our command person just was not a good person. There were so many working pieces that the word they kept using was convoluted. I said, I don't care how convoluted anything is. This is the military. If he can fight and he's not even old enough to drink in a country, then my son should be standing here, and I'm not going to take any other answer. So, but he's right. There were a lot of people that were saying, oh, no, this was just an accident. This was nothing. This is just your son on a motorcycle. And then started blaming motorcycles, people who ride motorcycles. And I'm like, oh my God, y'all are going to kill me here, because I grew up around, and if I'm in an alley and I go up to someone and I got somebody in chinos, I've said this, listen, I'm not owned by a corporate station. This is why I'm broke. And I'm in an alley and you've got on chinos, or you got your biker. Which way do you think I'm going?
Yep.
I know where I'm going.
I know which way you're going.
Grew up. The way that I grew up, I know what our bikers do for our community. Yep. I mean, the ones that give back, the charitable, I mean, I'm not even going to any other area. Even the ones that you may not like, the amount of proceeds that come through are unbelievable and charitable. The unfortunate part is that the truth and a lot of the answers weren't able to get out because of time, appointments, timing of a lot of things. So, and as I said, that last commander, I still remember his name though, Cody. His name's Anderson, and I'll never forget it. It's one of those moments, Jim, that
yes, ma'am.
Cody, and here comes all these men and women that were serving in Afghanistan as my son's unit, rushing through the field, and it's dark and it's late, and I see all these people hugging, and I wanted to just. I mean, literally, like right now, I'm like, I don't want to break. I'm trying not to break here because it's so vivid that I'm watching these people hug. And I'm like, my son is supposed to be coming to me. And instead, I'm looking at Cody and going, Cody, where's Anderson? Where is he? And he's like, Tracy, I'll never forget things he said to me. Well, first, he introduced me to someone that was the gentleman that lost his leg and who was just so kind. And then I kept saying, where's Anderson? Because this commander called me while on active duty, while in Afghanistan. And what he said to me was not okay. So, because he wanted me to be quiet. And so Cody said, okay, I'll point him out. I'm going to go up to him. Cody was still in his BDUs, camos. He's like, don't get me kicked out. I said, I won't, I promise. And he walked up like a gentleman and was like, sir, I have the mother here and she would like to say hello. And I promised him I'd be good. And he totally ignored Cody. He literally ignored him and literally jetted the other way and was like, he's not dealing with me. And I was whoa, I was not, I was mad. I mean, it's probably a good thing that the rest of the people were there and happy, because I was not okay with what he did. And Cody is a fighter too. So I guarantee if he hadn't been active at that time and he'd been standing there, not serving and not going to get kicked out of the military, he wouldn't have been okay with the way. I heard you bring him up. Yeah, still boils me that this man, one day I'm going to find him and tell him that, damn it, karma's a bitch, man. Sorry.
Nope.
You got me riled up, Cody.
Already gotten him, I guarantee it. Somewhere down the line, karma's already struck. And little did he know you would have the platform that you have today.
You're cutting in and out. I could hear part of that. You're cutting in and out. You're talking about a platform to talk and the ability to get information out. I think that's what I heard.
Karma has come, and it's.
I think he's glitching out, Jim. But Jim, I don't know. You just did something there. I mean, I didn't even know you were going to talk about being somewhere where they come walking. Like that happened to me. That was not supposed to happen. What just happened? I'm like, what the heck just happened here? We went from talking about someone showing up with the families there, and I end up in a situation that Cody's fully aware of. He's no longer in the military, but he witnessed me being treated a certain way. It was like, whoa, wait a minute here. If he hadn't been serving at that time, I guarantee he wouldn't have been okay with the way that commander, what rank was he? Because he wasn't, Adam was a sergeant, so I think he was just, one step up? Cody, do you have your audio back? I don't think you do. What I'll do, Cody, is I'll get you on a show, and if you'll go in the private chat here, put your phone number for me, and because I can't get your audio to come out, but that private chat, put me some answers, stick around, don't go. Let's see what your audio does and refresh. Refresh, Cody. Jim, again, that's just blew me away. I don't usually get speechless. Anyone will tell you that about me, but I didn't even know you were going to talk about them coming across the field, and that's exactly where Cody was at a time when everyone else was trying to hide things or cover up things and didn't want me to know. One person and his father, I give his father credit too. Yeah, your audio's not coming in, hon. Said, you better make sure that you're doing what would happen if that was your mom. And he said, I am, Dad. That's the reason she's standing in here right now. So, but he did tell me, he said, Tracy, like, whatever you do, I don't think you know this county. Don't go up to the officers' trailers. And I said, I don't care. I mean, they stole my wallet. Do you remember that, Cody? They literally.
She was a mom on a mission, that's for sure.
They accused me of stuff that was awful. But why do you have cash in your wallet? It wasn't much. It was like $100 and something. And I'm like, oh, you want to go there? I've already called media. Look at the other card that's by the money in my wallet. And they're like, damn it. It's 2 steps, Mom. So every time I'd cross into one state and go across another, we made sure that people knew when I came in and out of a state. So, and I'm grateful to this day for those that watched my back. And one of those is you, Cody. I don't know if you ever told anybody, but now everybody knows. So that you did it.
I took you as a mom to be with me. And yeah, my phone's dead.
Just put a message in the chat over there, the private chat. Jim, I think you could kind of hear him too. I think he's trying to say something about his mother. He lost his mother to cancer not long ago, which I beat cancer already, so I can beat what else. What I can't do is live with my son being killed while he's serving our country, and then the idiot with no common sense that wants to come at me. So you
Yep.
did find a truth teller, and I think we found someone that's speaking up too in regards to the people watching. And I see the numbers climbing, and I know you want to hear more. What are you an hour behind me,
Yeah.
Jim? Yeah. Okay, so you're doing better than me right now. Gotcha. They are too. That's why.
If
I
I
need
can
to
throw
get
something
that.
else out there, the similarities with you just wanted answers. And
Yeah.
somebody saying they're sorry would have made a world of difference.
Thank you.
We want answers, and we've had 3 briefings now sent, and none of them are correct. And we know that, and we're proving it as we continue, but we've never gotten an apology. The first time anybody said they were sorry to the families was when Speaker Johnson at the Congressional Gold Medal ceremony, and I mean, it's out there, you can find it. When he apologized, he said, "We owe you an apology. I'm sorry." That's the first time in 3 years that we've heard that. I appreciate that he did, but holy hell, we're 3 years down the road. What took so long? So I'm a little like you in that aspect. I've got some anger that kind of brews in there every now and then, and
Yeah.
just got to focus it in the right direction and make sure I'm being productive with it versus just lashing out at people. But
Oh yeah. Yeah. That's why people didn't see me for a while. I had some things I had to go take care of, literally. Um, and then I didn't expect to go see them, the rest of the unit, come back as my son should have been right there with them, and not being at a burial. I don't even like that part. I don't go back to that. Yeah, I didn't expect this tonight. You can tell, like, I'm getting thrown off a little bit here. It's just something that I have not heard sorry either. I will never hear it from the person I need them to do it and say it and admit it. It won't happen. But what did happen for me is I'm lucky that he did serve under a colonel for a good amount of time. That was amazing. And his years prior were all amazing. Just unfortunately, these towns that these bases are in, I mean, man, I just did not know how bad it was. And, my son's friends, me, his siblings, everybody was here. So he always came home. And the one thing I regretted was that I had never gone to see the base. And everyone's like, "Well, Tracy, what do you think you would have done?" And I said, "I know what I would have done." They're like, "There is no way you would have got that boy moved." And I said, "You want to bet?" Don't go there with me, but trust me, there was a reason that I knew who his commanders were the whole time. And but we were doing good. We were supporting units. We were taking care of each other. Now that I'm on this side, it's a whole nother world, Jim, that I hope you don't experience some of what I've experienced. And some of that is some of our own people tearing each other down. And I really want that to change too. That one hurts. That hurts when you've already lost your child and now you've got the others that want to take more of you, and there's not enough left inside of you. And I don't understand it. I've already lost a kid. Can't you just let me have some peace and understand that you have what you have because he did what he did, both foreign and domestic, when he took his oath. And my kid that couldn't drink can go serve and, do the missions he did. Missions. He told me a lot. They weren't playing soldiers and cowboys or anything. This is what people don't understand. Even at the base, not in his position. So I can only speak to me. My son was hard-headed, front lines, infantry, got to be fighting all the way. And I'm like, "Son, can't we at least discuss?" Nope. If I'm doing it this way. So, I I think you got some of that from me. But to this day, I've told everybody I'm honest. Like my son Cash, no way. He's not going in. I think my family throughout the years has put in their due time right now, and I just need to celebrate and honor those that are serving right now and the veterans, and keep taking care of our Gold Star families, and just start gathering up the patriots and figuring out building our country, getting answers that we need, and the legislation.
Yes.
You also hit on something else. We're going to end here in a minute, guys. I know you're watching up there. The numbers are climbing. It is Jim McCullough. He is the Riley. I will pull that back up for you so you can see it. But again, if you go look, we did a whole show on this with the Afghanistan 13 because of the anniversary. And then what happened as former president, I don't even say former, but I will because Jim said that, as Trump went to a location that he was invited through proper protocols. It was not a stunt for votes. It was not a political situation. It was a human decency, humanitarian in the heart situation. So do we all have a heart? Yes, we can agree on that much, right? So I'm like, okay, we can stop there. Just don't go any further. Let's agree. We all got a heart, right? If somebody's going to stand up and speak up and say, yeah, I am sorry, this should not have happened. That's a big move and an honest move. Do I know that not everyone is 100% and that there's issues? Yes, there's issues on both sides. I mean, what do you think? That we're going to find some perfect individual that's, no, you got to first fix the system. And if, we're never all going to agree, never. But we have to all come to some agreement that we understand where we're at right now. And honestly, Jim, you and I shouldn't be here because of the reason that we're here. Being two parents that I raised my son. He didn't have his that was there while he was growing up. So, fighter, protector of me to the full extent. Great in every way, manners, respects. This here is the guys with him that I was showing you earlier. And then Cody popped up. I'm like, whoa, this is a trip. But, Riley, and you mentioned this. I just want to show this again, how adorable this is right here. And I've never seen this, but I would like that just without... Of course, mine, I wouldn't be able to do the Marine one, except I'll tell you a backstory channel on that one. But we have Riley here, Riley McCollum, who should be here with us right now. I love that picture. And again, we want you to pay attention. Look right there at that fist. I know where he got it.
We were, that was at a UFC fight.
Oh, are you kidding? Okay.
He was a huge UFC fan. In fact, he was a Randy the Natural Couture fan.
No way.
Day one. Absolutely. Yep.
Wow. We have a lot to talk about. I'm literally about to put on what we call Patriot Fest. And he said, I'll come to Patriot Fest. And it was going to be, some riders will ride in on their bikes. And then vendors will be set up. And really not vendors, just information and, all sorts of things, whether it's moonshine, guitars, people that make flags, people that, have a lot to offer in the small business community, our veterans, food trucks, and then Randy Couture. And I want an octagon in there, and we can have a match and a card going on during the day. And then you've got your bands that'll roll through. So they're like, could you pull off the music side? And I'm like, yeah, that part's easy for me. And so Randy was ready to roll and like, hey, when is she doing Patriot Fest? I'll come. And I said, whoa, wait a minute. I got to build the committee first. Like I can't actually, I probably would, but I need to build the committee that would say, okay, let's do Patriot Fest. And that's about all of us. So with Patriot Fest comes, there's Cody again, with Randy Couture, your singers, veterans. There he is. There's Cody again. I don't know if we can hear you, but Cody was really into the slingshots and the motorcycles. So we still need to do a ride to honor two-step. I still have never done anything in regards to my own son, Jim. So I'm on this show to talk about Jim, not me, Cody. I'm always talking about everybody else's story. I don't ever talk about mine unless I'm somewhere fighting. So that's what y'all caught. Y'all just caught me with somebody that knows me and watched me. And you need to come watch me in legislation, Cody, so I can say, look, here's somebody who was serving at the time and witnessed this damn man that was serving, and the way he treated me is unbelievable. Not just that, but other reasons that we need to fix things for our veterans. Like there's a whole lot of homelessness and situations that we're giving money to illegal situations that a phone, money, food, here you go. And we can't do anything to help our veterans. Like,
Absolutely.
That's not okay with me.
Nope.
Like, how does anyone think that's okay? And everyone's like, but you can't. Like, since the beginning of times in this country, it's all about, immigration. I'm like, yeah, but you know what? You know what they did?
Did it the right way.
Right. Exactly. I'd like to hear you, Jim.
Yep. There's a reason that door, you go through the door to get in. Then it's controlled. You know who's coming in. I actually asked this at CENTCOM in April. How many terrorists have crossed that border? Do you know? They would neither confirm nor deny, which tells me, yeah, we've got people, not the ones that killed my son, but same region that are in the United States. You got to come through the door. You can't do what we've been doing. And not to mention the economic stress that puts on communities and the country in general. The money we're wasting there, we could have taken care of every veteran we have in the United States. What we've spent in the last 3 years as a nation, there is absolutely zero reason that we have a homeless veteran population. They don't want to fix it, and that's the only reason it hasn't been fixed. We'll fix Ukraine, we'll fix their border, but we're not going to take care of our people at home. That one's disgusting to me.
Yeah, I agree. And I know that Cody does from serving, right, Cody?
We have a
Your audio isn't working there, hon, but we
absolutely
can see you.
Jim. Hear
I'll
me?
have to. No, you're frozen. So right above your head, Jim, is the Patriot Fest logo there. So there, Cody's back. So Cody, if I can see you moving now, you were frozen. You can try to speak, and we'll see if we can hear you. We've got the Army mom that's here is still sticking in here and wants us to know, and she's given us her God bless and Godspeed to her too at Fort Leonard Wood. So I still call Fort Hood Fort Hood.
If I can throw one thing out there again before I forget, relating to Arlington.
Sure, please do.
Trump was invited. So was the Biden-Harris administration. I've seen the letter that Utah Governor Cox wrote to the administration inviting him to be there on the 26th. They chose not to show up. And there's a lot of keyboard warriors and stuff that just attack the hell out of every situation. It is factual. I've read it. I won't post it for obvious reasons, but I do have a copy of it. The administration was invited to be there, and they chose not to come.
I didn't know that part.
That went out there.
Yeah. I did not know that part actually, but that is why the person that I'm talking about, I don't want to put his name out here while we're talking live. That's the person you need to hand that copy to. When they say he's his best friend, it means that he's also not going to use it in a dumb way because he works with everybody. But there are people that are trying to work everything out for us, right?
Yep.
And that means if whoever gets in office gets in there, we still got to do work. So I don't want to see it go that way. I don't want it to happen because some people think it'd be cool to have a female for the first time as a president. I'm not into what's cool. Yeah, no, I'm not kidding. Like that's been, I'm like, are you kidding me? Or it's about the topic of abortion, and everybody cringes, like, don't say the words, Tracy. And I'm like, I got a story for you on that one too. My son would not be here if I weren't a fighter, and I had done what some people that it's called trafficking, and it was happening a long time ago, and I have had things happen to me. My son and I came in this world fighting, and we'll always be that way. And it doesn't mean that we fought in the wrong way. It means that, now I'll be really honest with you. Like, I'm glad that my son chose. He's the kid in school that, sees a bully doing something to another kid that's in a wheelchair. I'll never forget it. He'd watched it too many times and already told the kid, knock it off, and just kind of knocked his head. Kid kept doing it, and my son knocks this kid out. And I get a call from the principal. And I'm sitting there, and he's like, aren't you going to say anything or do anything? I'm like, no. He's like, what do you mean? I'm talking about the principal. And he said, your son just knocked out another kid. I'm going to suspend him. And I said, with all due respect, sir, you've been told how many times that this other kid has been bullied, that's sitting in a wheelchair, and my son had to take care of it. I really don't care. I am proud of my son. So go figure it out. And they just looked at me like I was just blank. So, yeah, I mean, I've had situations with them where I told you there's some guilt, where I said, I think the military is what's going to. So Adam and I both, we call him two-step on the show. So I'm being way more personal than I normally would. We'll give y'all 3 more minutes, and then I promise you'll have a show that's just Jim, and it's going to be nothing about me. So, there's a hurricane. Cody, they're in the middle of a hurricane. Please give the regards to Jim and his well wishes. That is from Cody, the veteran that popped in. They're in Atlanta, and they're in the middle.
That's right. He said he's in Georgia. Yeah, he's probably getting pummeled right now.
He wanted to tell you that, and he didn't even say hi to me. But no, I mean, if it weren't for you and sitting here tonight, I mean, just to hear him pop in and go, I'm like, wait, was I hearing what I thought I heard? Did he say? Because he got a lot of crap from his own brothers saying, shut up, like, be quiet. And that meant he would be pushed out. So he was in a situation where it was like a rock and a hard spot, and his dad's standing there, and his dad's like, And, and I could see he was thinking about it. It's not an easy situation to be put into, for anybody that's out there right now serving, or you're in the middle of something and you need to do the right thing. I promise in the end, it's all going to come out okay. So you're going to feel much better about making that right turn instead of the wrong one. So thank God I'm still here, because to be honest with you, I was very focused on getting there and getting things done. So honestly, I finally was told by the military, Tracy, you got to get security, literally, every time you go in and out. So that is what happened. I was like, seriously, I thought I was away from all this because I'm working with you in the military. And now I've got the military telling me that they can't protect me outside of the gates. So cross those lines, get some security. So Cody's one of those, secretly. So, but as he was serving, if they'd found out, he would have been kicked out of the military immediately.
Yep.
So I just can't believe that he just came on here with you and said, I think he said sorry and something else. It kind of shocked me, but see what I mean? It's strange for someone to finally come and go, hey, she was fighting for the right reasons. Because sometimes you're like, man, like, is this? Am I tired? Can I keep going?
Yep.
And you know what? I can. When something like this happens, I run into
Making any
you. I
progress,
run.
yeah.
You're bringing up a lot. Just everything around you is between Riley, between the UFC, Randy Couture, Cody, every which way you're going about the sorries. I'll end with this for all of you who are out there, because remember, we've done more than half the show for Gold Star Families Day, which is Sunday. I want y'all to remember that. And then remember that we'll be back with Jim McCullum with the show, because we're hitting it about 3 hours that we'll split up and put it out on the podcast that you can all go listen to. And you should, because there's a lot in this show. The ones that are out there right now looking and listening to Patriots Inside the Wire on the podcast, we have Jim McCullum, who is still here. He's the father of Riley McCullum. You usually will hear Afghanistan 13. Civilians may recognize it as the 13 that were serving as Marines that lost their lives recently. There was the Congressional Gold Medal ceremony. Jim, my next conversation with you will be about the Speaker of the House and something that happened with me recently. So I'll be interested to see your answer, or hear. I'll be able to hear your answer on, you're going to laugh about something, but it's kind of the way it goes when something happens to your kid. You just are in one lane, one focus. I don't care who's serving. I don't care who's above me. You're not below me. You're not above me. You're a person. So treat me with respect. I treat you with respect. So I don't know. I need to be a little bit meaner, actually. I need to get some of that back. But I do you know about FOIA, right? Your FOIA for your records, and yeah,
Yes.
I figured. But there's all kinds of things out there, and all kinds of people that work on things. And with the legislation committee that we're building, advocates, Gold Star advocates, we'd love to have some of you have this thing really keep going, because for me, is what helps me as far as that's the fight that I can keep fighting and make sure that we keep going, because we got generations coming up just like you do with Riley's daughter there. So
Yes.
where is Riley's daughter? Is she near you, or did they stay back?
No, they moved from Camp Pendleton to South Carolina.
Oh,
I used to see Gigi and the baby. I was spoiled. The girls didn't always get to come with me, but I would see Gigi and Levi about a week a month. And then they moved, and logistically life just takes different turns. It's harder. So now we FaceTime and message. And I think the last time we actually saw them in person was Gigi and the baby came to Tampa for the CENTCOM briefing. And then she was going to come. She wasn't able to make it for the Congressional Gold Medal either. She didn't get the information soon enough, and it was the week of Levi's birthday, and she had family coming from California and North Carolina and Florida, and it just didn't work where she could come for a day and then leave. So,
well, you said South Carolina. I'm bringing this up. This is the picture of Riley. I love this picture that we have here. Do you see this, Jim?
Yes.
Of Riley
with his ice cream.
I was going to ask you about that. I did not edit this photo. This is a photo of Riley McCullum. He is the son of Jim McCullum right here. It's the Gold Star Family Edition. We like our artwork. That's my creative process and the team. There is someone that works with us, and we put a lot of effort into this. So I wanted you to look at this really close and look at his hand. I'm not talking about the right hand. I'm talking about that left hand. I have a question there, Jim. I didn't edit that. There is a real popsicle in his hand.
It's a chocolate covered ice cream.
Yes.
He was in Jordan at the time that picture was taken, and yep.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful picture.
I love it. I mean, how could we not use that? I mean, I was like, That was brilliant. That right there. We'll have to make sure you keep a copy of this. I love that picture and the way that it's set up in there. So if you look really, really close, you're going to find some hidden things in the picture too. So, but everyone, for tonight, we've had Mr. Jim McCullum, and we've already given you information to let you in on some things. We're going to go ahead and roll out, and we're going to make sure that we do an episode with Jim and Riley. I want you to remember Riley here, and Riley has siblings. Riley has a daughter. You said the name Levi. I almost named Cash Levi.
Oh, really?
And I didn't. Instead, he's named after Johnny Cash for a reason. But so there was another thing you hit on, the Randy Couture, watching them come back. I don't know if you've have you heard of Michael Reagan yet?
I don't believe so.
He does the presidential portraits and really, really famous. Sorry, needed water, everybody. Portraits, and like behind me, you see the black and white one there. I'll put you in touch with a few things that I ended up finding out in a longer way, but having military moms text for that and having some of the moms that are working even right now on things, it's just nice when now my area, I do need to build it up. Like the area that Terry's in, he's fortunate. There, it is so just gathered together that I think it's beautiful. And I'd love to see my area that way, or I'd have to move to a different area, I guess. But I got a few more years here with this one. So we're back to the boxing, back to the UFC. And then that's what I'd love to see is so with Patriot Fest, you sound like the right person that needs to be involved on that committee. I don't have too many people who are going to go UFC, boxing, motorcycles, and singing, Tracy. I'm like, heck yeah, of course, that's Patriot Fest. And of course, yes, I would invite him to come. So for everyone that's thinking that, would Tracy be a person who would invite him? Yes, I would. I would ask him to come. Of course I would. We have more, so I hope that you'll tune back into Patriots Inside the Wire. As you know, I do go very long on our live shows. Something always pops up. I'm not censored. I'm lucky for that. However, if you're going to be a guest, don't worry. You can jump out of here and leave within 20, 30 minutes, literally. So tonight we put in a lot, Jim. We've got goldstarparentsretreat.org to check out for Gold Star Parents. It's just a beautiful thing that's happening with Mr. Terry Burgess and Beth Burgess for Staff Sergeant Brian Burgess. I have not watched the Hornets nest movie yet myself, but if you look at that, that is where Brian was. And yeah, beautiful family. Mr. Jim McCullum was with us, and we were talking about the Afghanistan 13, and there is a YouTube video that I want you to go check out. It's in the, I was at 7 to 8 million the last time I looked. I want you to check that out, and we'll get a little bit further if you tune into just about Jim McCullum's show and not just the Gold Star Family show. So thank you for being with us. We're going to roll out here with this and say thank you for being here at Patriots Inside the Wire. I can see you there. And X, I want to say thank you to you. I know who's there. Make sure you take the clip of this. I'll edit it. I don't edit. It's repurposing is all it is. But stay tuned. We're going to do an actual show with Jim McCullum. So just stay tuned in. I'll release it. Wednesday nights is where I get the airtime on a broadcast where I can do everything. But honestly, I can do it any night. It's just I have more access on a Wednesday. So I'd like to actually, Jim, do what we had talked about and then get a hold of this other person who normally comes on and have him pop in with you a little bit and say hi.
Absolutely.
It's much easier than us trying to fly to that state and this state. So I want to say thank you to all those who are still out there hanging in there and listening. But as you heard Jim McCullum say, he's going to come back. We'll give you some more. He has told, actually, you tell them, Jim.
What do you want me to tell them?
Just tell them that you're going to tell them the truth, and they can come back and listen to you.
Absolutely. I told Tracy, I'm an open book. There are no questions that are off the table. We will talk about anything and everything. My mission in life is to share Riley's story, remember him, remember the 13, and then go beyond that. I want to remember the wounded from there, and then on down the line, everybody we've lost.
Yes.
That's my life mission, and I really do like sharing Riley's story and letting people get some insight as to who the kid was. So I appreciate the opportunity and you having me on here. And this has been fantastic. It's been a fun conversation. I felt my blood pressure go up a little bit on the political stuff because it does. That there's a fire that burns with that. And it's just frustrating to me that people are so opinionated and their heels are dug in so deep. They refuse to even listen to what's right in front of them. They can't see the truth when it's right in front of them.
Yeah, and that's why I said you go ahead and tell them. So what we'll do is we'll have you back. All you got to do is pay attention, because what I'm going to do is do a recording with Jim. And I just bit my own tongue right there. It's pistachios that I'm chewing on. I'm not chewing tobacco. It's a pistachio. It creates saliva. That's a tip for everybody out there that's talking. It's a trick. Jim. So with Gold Star Families Day on Sunday, I didn't want to have to be the one to tell you that is a day, but it is a day that a lot of the country doesn't even know what it means, has no clue what they think Gold Star. I have literally been told, I'm sure you heard that last night, you're not special. Go back to the back of the line because you got it. I'm like, I'm not special. It's a real thing. I would change it to Dark Star, Black Star, like Awful Star, any other name. It's not a good thing. So it's unfortunate.
Gold Star, when you were younger, meant you did something and you accomplished something and you did a good thing. And that's why it was so hard for me to even accept the term Gold
I don't
Star.
like it.
It's like I didn't win anything. I lost. So that whole journey has been hard for me to accept.
Right. Well, that, and then you have some of us who, like, my son's been in war, and then he had to be in war on his own in his country.
Yep.
So I just want to tell everybody to understand that there are things that happen, foreign and domestic. And when you take an oath and you join the military, you're not playing until you head out to war. You've got to get out there like you're already at war. And that's, my son was literally like heavy duty training, out of commission. You cannot get them. They are gone. They're accomplishing a mission because the mission has to be done where they're going. So the things that happen that you don't normally get to hear the full truth on, that is what we are. We are truth tellers. These are the kind of stories that I want to accomplish. Not just that, Patriot Fest is a big deal. Patriots Inside the Wires logo above your head. You can see all those in there. It's got fire. It's got Patriots. It's got a guitar. It's got, I'm all about UFC. So when I talk about our Patriots, that pretty much includes all of it there. But it's even got Space Force. They talked me into that one. I'm with it, but I was like, okay, all right, yeah. I'm doing like you.
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't have an answer on that one. So there's not even a they. It's someone that's like, I guess, yes, let's just go ahead and support. So I do appreciate X, though, giving the platform that it gives. I am not on X right now, and that is so weird to say. It is a trip to say that and to say it's a trip. Sorry. The platform formerly known as Twitter is not where I am at right now. I am going through a broadcast stream, and I am on multiple channels. So we are on Instagram. We're everywhere right now. It will end up on Amazon. It will end up on Spotify, Apple, iTunes. You can find it as a podcast live. There already has been a network. I don't usually give out the network name. It's a very good reason that I don't. You can easily find it on YouTube. That's what I like to say. Because I honestly, the show won't even get credit, just like a singer. So this show does not have many subscribers because people will tune in, but it's like, hey, wait a minute. And we normally have security. That's not a joke. You talked about keyboard warriors. I get a lot of those. So I've had some interesting, they're not interesting. I've literally been, things that shouldn't happen.
Yes.
So I'm going to roll out of this one right here. Thank you all. I can see you there. I know you want to hear more, but I'm going to tell you that I'll release the actual footage of the show for Jim. And thank you for watching. I'm going to tell you to please subscribe, please follow, share, tune in. There's a lot coming up because of what's going on right now. We do appreciate the singer in the beginning, Miss May, who sang for us. Terry that joined us. Gold Star Families Day is Sunday. Again, we want you to look out for each other, find out your information and your facts. Get it from the source. Do not count on someone else to do that for you. Understand what's going on. Tune in again for us, please. And let's go into Mr. Jim McCollum's story. I have the Border Patrol agent coming. And then I do have something else that will involve Trump and the campaign. So since we did not get to have them tonight, we will have them on here soon. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. What we will do for you now, if you'll hang by with us real quick, Jim, we will play this out for everyone watching, saying thank you and stand by.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching another episode of Patriots Inside the Wire, hosted by Gold Star Mom, Tracy Two-Step. Help us broaden our reach. Like, subscribe, and share.
Don't stop me, please. So I'm my brother Two-Step.
I always love to hear Cash's name there, or his voice saying Sergeant Adam, my brother Two-Step. So this is the wall that we have up there. There's too many on that wall. We've got the Afghanistan 13. And Mr. Jim McCollum. We're going to roll out of here real quick. Stand by, Jim. We're going to say thank you to everybody for watching and tune in soon for more information on the truth in regards to the Afghanistan 13. Thank you, Jim, and stand by.